The long wait is over, the summer is gone, the best leagues in the land are back.
It's time to raise the game.
Hello and welcome back. It was an unfortunate defeat for the Cardiff Met women this afternoon with the final score Exeter 22, Cardiff Met 12. But never fear, the Ultras are still here and we have a varsity matchup on our hands this evening. So far it's been a South Wales showdown for Cardiff Met, having beaten both Swansea and Cardiff. But before we get into tonight's game, I am joined by rugby broadcast extraordinaire James Roberts. James, welcome back. How does it feel?
It's awesome to be back here at Kincoid. I mean, it's such a special campus and it's such a special name in the realm of rugby at university level. You know, Cardiff Met is pretty infamous for its rugby production line, so we'll see what it has to produce for us this evening.
And tell us, what have you been up to since your Cardiff Met Sport TV days?
Wow, so I've been up to a bit. I did a lot of freelancing when I initially left. But I'm very grateful that I've landed in a fantastic team at the moment. I now work for a company called BUCS. We're responsible for making TNT's rugby broadcast product, and it's a really, really great career, to be honest. I'm really enjoying working with everyone there. Some of them are watching this evening from home and offering their support, and it's a really great community to be a part of at BUCS. It's a really, really good company, really driving a lot of development in the world of sports broadcasting as well, and pushing the boundaries and the limits of what we can really do.
So you haven't quite lost touch with the rugby world and you haven't quite lost touch with BUCS Super Rugby. Tell us about the Archers players that are up and coming in the English Prem.
The Archers players coming up in the English Prem. Wow, I mean, that's such a broad question, really. I mean, the first name that definitely comes to mind, I'm looking out of the corner of my eye here because someone else that we've got being a guest today is a big fan of this man, but Roma Zheng finally has left university, which is a big sad for us, big loss for Cardiff Met, but he's joined up with the Harlequin squad, and that's really, really exciting. And I'm really looking forward to see how he lands in that Harlequins team this season, but in particular someone that's already made an impact on the pitch this year, Paul Brown-Bampo for the Exeter Chiefs. He's come out of that Durham University sort of rugby team and product line, and he's made an instant impact. He's carried really well. He's put himself in the right position to really offer himself on the ball in situations so far this season. And I'm really excited to see where he can continue to grow, and growing alongside someone like Manny Fawaboso as well. Having those two on your wings at a club like Exeter, those guys could really fly.
So we touched on it briefly, coverage of the women's game. It's not just the male Archer players that are up and coming. We touched on all the female players that have been in the Welsh international squads and things like that. But we couldn't quite get that performance in the women's game earlier this afternoon. What, in your eyes, happened there?
Well, I mean, look, it was a tough game for Cardiff Met. You know, we know that Exeter are a strong side. They're, led by Poppy Leach, who's a fantastic player in her own right, tears it up in the PWR with the Exeter Chiefs women's programme. And look, today it just wasn't to be Met's day. I think they let Exeter play with a bit too much tempo, a bit too much speed. Breakdowns didn't really last very long, and they didn't hold up the ball quite as much as they would have wanted to. So I think that's one of the things that let them down. But look, their physicality in defence is amazing. They just need to try and translate that into a physicality in attack as well, and then I think they can really push up in this league. And people forget after today as well those scores from pre-season, but they did absolutely trounce Hartpury here at Kincoid campus. So they can put in those strong performances. So let's just hope it comes together as the season plays on.
Yeah, definitely. And it's hard not to ignore that Cardiff Met women's victory last week, but it was also a Cardiff Met Cardiff Clash men's victory as well. So how does that bode for not just this game but the season in general?
Clash means so much to everyone at this university, and indeed at Cardiff University as well. You know, it's a massive test of the level and skill of your programme, and also how well your team can actually perform together also. You know, Cardiff Clash, it's just got that extra level to it that other BUCS Super Rugby fixtures maybe don't until we get to the post-season sort of phase of the competition. But it's good to see that they got that win. They've got the strong start, they often do in this league, but they've got to make sure they keep this momentum going. They've got to make sure that they don't drop off and they keep this form going. You can already hear them shouting behind us. Like they are fired up for this, mate.
Raring to go, that's for sure. And they were raring last week in the Cardiff Clash. And if you happen to miss it, here are the highlights.
With a croeso to Cardiff Arms Park on a crisp autumn evening that sees the Grand Old Stadium play host to the Cardiff Clash. Cardiff Uni beat Cardiff Met. There are few bigger nights for the nation's capital than this, and the students of the city are out in full force. As we still await the opening score. They've shifted out now, but that was an interesting formation from the Archer backs. The long pass, and it is going to be the opening score. Dylan Scott over on the right hand side, and Cardiff Met with the early lead. Yeah, lovely try, great start for Cardiff Met. I think maybe possibly that strange formation I mentioned might have confused the Cardiff defence then. As soon as they shifted out, it was a simple enough pass out to the wing, and it goes over for quite an easy score in the end. Really experienced man, and yeah, when you're a young player looking for wisdom, he's a great mentor to have. Cohen just stepping back inside and offloading to Rice, who's nearly up toward the line there. A beautiful break. That will not be a try, but the referee going to his pocket and sending one of the Cardiff University players to the bin. Just waiting to see. I think that might be Antoine Lira. We see the number on his back. We will try and bring that to you as soon as we can do, as Cardiff Met have an attacking line out, 5 metres out and a man advantage, and it pays immediately. Over for their second score of the game, and a real team try that. Just inside Cardiff University's half. And we go in with 5 in the line. Quick ball off the top. Crimp involved as second receiver that time, Carrington. And on over to the left wing. Good run from Dylan Scott, and an even stronger one here. It will be Cardiff Met's third try of the night. Yeah, what a carry that is over the line. What a finish. So powerful. But I think Cardiff Met, really the game plan is tonight, get that ball out wide to the speedsters, and then exposes Cardiff defence. They can come back inside them with the big men to power it home. In these kind of positions all game. He's out wide at the moment, but don't be surprised if we see Cardiff put him back in the middle again and look to run the ball with him. And again they go straight off the back, and it has worked for them. Oliver Sterling out now to Carrington, who's on the wing. Looks like he has moved to the wing, with Meyer perhaps taking up the position at fullback. And it is Meyer who puts in the kick to Cohen, who's perfectly placed to take it. Wow. And he's going to weave his way to the line for an incredibly popular score here at the Armspark. We talked about here in Cardiff Uni supporters earlier on, but all the noise there coming from Cardiff Met students. Cohen with a beautiful try. Yeah, and we talked about it before, but how quickly can this Cardiff Met team just switch the play between both wings? Carrington on this side, the initial carry up the middle, and then they whip the ball out. It's a beautiful kick over the top. No, not as much for Cardiff Met to build on if they're scoring against 14 players. They will want to be doing it against a full complement as they rampage up towards the line there. The pick and go. Excellent tackle. He was over the line, but the ball was not. And held up there. Sterling once again involved for Cardiff University. He's been impressive. Round the corner. He certainly has. Still short of the line of the Archers. They go over the top this time, and that will be an excellent try for Mike Hansen. Another who has been involved with the Netherlands setup, the under-20s level. What a finish as well, a lovely little dive, just dart from the base of the scrum, and he just leaped over the top of the Cardiff defence. They weren't expecting it, they were expecting to go low, as you do on the goal line. Sort of a NFL running back type finish there from Hansen, an excellent finish. And an opportunity to get a win like this in front of your home supporters really means that around campus these boys, they going to be recognised, just like the girls earlier after that 57-0 win. It's going to get the rest of the university behind them as we see Chris Johnson running for what is an incredibly richly deserved try. He has been such a presence in the midfield for the Archers in this second half.
In Cardiff Met, number 12, Chris Johnson.
Maya knows time is up, turns around and kicks it back over his own goal line. A famous win notched up once again for Cardiff Met. 41-7 for the men over Cardiff University here at the Cardiff Clash.
What a night. And I am once again joined by rugby extraordinaire number 2, Rob Burke. Rob, what did you make of Met's performance from that clash last week?
I'm not getting bored of these introductions anytime soon. The clash last week, it was a statement, eh? Couldn't really believe it. We've seen some impressive performances from Cardiff Met over the years when I was here. It was pretty relentless. They were top-notch every week. But like I say, to start a season with a result like that against a good Cardiff Uni side, that's the difference. They're both in good condition at the moment. It's a statement, it really is.
Lovely. Well, from that performance, what do you think they can bring tonight?
It'd be interesting tonight, I think. The facilities, when we went up to Bath back when I was commentating regularly, went up to Bath and kind of wondered what all the fuss was around. And then you see their training facilities, the pitches they have available. The gym is like Starship Enterprise in there. You've got walkovers, racks everywhere. It's a bit of a intimidating place to go. And it all kind of makes sense as to why Bath was so good over the last couple of years. And for Cardiff Met, it's not an easy thing to do, but I can hear the supporters coming in now making plenty of noise, and it does make a difference when you're at Rugby 1, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can see them behind us all sprawling in, the ultras dressed in their gear. I wonder what the theme is this evening. But linking back to the Cardiff Clash, you note on previous games, what was the original atmosphere like back when you were, say, commentating on those matches?
You say it wasn't too long ago I was here, but it is a couple of years now, and it was the day you looked forward to. I'd come here for this course, you never really know what to expect, and you're thrown straight in the deep end. Cardiff Clash, Arms Park, quite a big occasion, and there's nothing like it. Even after you've left as a student, you can't help but go back and watch the game, and the word everyone says, like, there's a buzz, there's a real feeling, it's unique, it's special, and it absolutely is. I've been to stadiums in a lot of different countries now, as I say, with my work, but there's something different about the Clash. It's just genuine passion, and there's so much on the line. It's very tribal, like with rugby, it's always good-spirited, and everybody will shake hands at the end, and in a lot of games you can sit next to opposition fans, share a pint. There's none of that in the Clash. You're very much separated by a full pitch. If you've got the space to run over, good luck. And you don't get that very often, where it is so tribal that they split the fans. It's 1v1, and you get bragging rights for a long time if you win, and I love it.
I mean, you can hear the drums banging behind us. It seems that the atmosphere from the Clash isn't just a Clash special, but they kind of bring it to every match that they go to. How much of an impact do you think that makes on the players? Oh,
huge, because Bath is a big game as well. Don't rule it out. It was something that kind of skipped over my realisation when I was here. Like, it was all about Cardiff Uni, Cardiff Met, Cardiff Uni. But don't forget, Bath is there as well. It's a big clash. It's a varsity clash, and you'd expect more of the same, because it's an equally big game. The fans are equally passionate, and it's all about the bragging rights as well.
Yeah, exactly. But we are not just watching the fans this evening, are we? It is all about the rugby at the end of the day. So who are your players to keep an eye on?
There's a few. We mentioned earlier with the women being involved in Championship, in Premiership, and in the WXV as well. And there's a few lads for Cardiff Met that they're doing well already. And I think a lot of these players will fall victim to their own success a little bit when you get so good. As much as it's good for you, it punishes the team a little bit. You're victims of their own success, exactly. And you just come across players all the time. There's a lad out there today, played for the Delta not so long ago, Netherlands international already, and it's just, Yeah, there's a few lads out there I'm excited to see. James Roberts will give us a bit more information a little bit later on. I know he's been looking forward to this one massively, and so we'll have a chat in the commentary and see who he's got highlighted.
I'm sure you will, and it's clear, you can see the passion when it comes out on the pitch things like that, but it's not just Met's passion. What do you think it means for Bath to come to a match like this with the fans like that? Like, what kind of pressure do you think they're under as well?
A lot. It's an interesting one for Bath. I feel like because Cardiff Met do have that clash with Cardiff Uni, it's like, to us, what's bigger? Bath, would you rather beat Bath or would you rather beat Cardiff Uni? We've got that kind of disparity, whereas for Bath, this is their big one. And that sounds a little bit, like it's all about us, but it is. It's big for Bath, and it's not an easy thing to do to come to Rugby 1. We've seen so many teams who perhaps were maybe playing better than Cardiff Met, in better form, had better players. Doesn't mean much when you come here because the fans are such a leveller and the players just have that extra 10% because they want to give it on Rugby 1. So for Bath, it's a tough game. It's a big game for them. They've got a good side though. It's up and down with Bath, you never know.
Yeah, well, like you say, James Roberts will have all the info. He'll keep us all up to date, but you will be joining him shortly. So let's let Rob escape and let's take it up. James Roberts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Kincoid Campus, the home of the UWIC Archers, Cardiff Metropolitan University, a fabled rugby name in the realm of university sport, and at long last, this squad have the honour of opening their BUCS Super Rugby account at home, and what better way to do it than with a derby day? The visit of your varsity rivals always brings with it an extra level of physicality, an extra level of passion, and an added desire to walk away with the bragging rights. This evening's weather is bitterly cold. The wind has disappeared that we were experiencing earlier on today here at Rugby 1, and the chill is settling in here as the night is now illuminated by the floodlights here on Rugby 1, and the light is illuminating on a new era here at Cardiff Met. Danny Milton has left his role in charge of the side, but he's left it in capable hands with Dr. Ian Gardner, a man who so far has had a perfect start to the season. 10 points from an available 10. Can the Archers keep this momentum going? And as the crowd begins to pour into the cauldron of Rugby 1, let's take a moment to familiarise ourselves with how the sides line up for this fixture. A completely unchanged starting lineup from last week's run out at the Arms Park against Cardiff University. Ben Murphy captains from the loose head. The now experienced front rower is a vital cog in the Met scrum clockwork. Gethin Cannon reprising his role in the second row, but keep an eye on master student Ardal Yolov. He wasn't satisfied leaving after last season, and he is particularly determined to take the side all the way this year. USA Under-20 Steph Crimp is steering the ship at 10, and he'll be very pleased Joshua Carrington remains behind him at 15. The full-back brings a wealth of Welsh rugby experience to the BUCS Super Rugby picture after time with Swansea in the Welsh Prem and the Ospreys development system before arriving at Cardiff Met. The bench have 5 fresh faces this week. Evan Wood is slowly being brought back in, and the former Wales Under-18 Six Nations captain will be thrilled at the prospect of that being against sought-after rivals. A name that hasn't changed from the team sheet is Dutch international Vikas Meyer, a utility player in the back line and an incredibly skilled individual. He'll make an instant impact when he's released into this fixture. And after a hop, skip and a jump over the M4 bridge, the University of Bath have rung in 7 changes after a narrow defeat on the road to Loughborough University. Kepu Tuipulotu gets a promotion to the starting lineup after his antics in round 2. Northampton Saints' Aidan Ainsworth-Cave gets bumped up to the starting pack also, and Connor Treacy continues his involvement, co-captaining the side on the open side of the scrum. Keep your eyes out for the England Under-18 captain. Will Rue gets brought in, starting from fly half this evening after a Bath rugby call-up for Jack Woods rules him out of selection. Jamie Howick and Henry Bartlett, the final 2 of the 3 changes to the starting backline, but remaining at fullback is superstar Ollie Sedgwick. Keep your eyes on him as he continues to light up this Bath squad in BUCS Super Rugby. 5 new additions on the bench this evening for Bath, but one of them isn't that new at all. Max Pearce, the fellow co-captain to Treacy this evening, is on the bench and can bring all the experience of his 27 BUCS Super Rugby caps when he barrels in later on. And keep your eyes on the 150-kilo giant of Enoch Apuku Gayamfi, who is waiting in the wings to continue causing carnage in this league. And just take a look at that evening sky. I've already said it is bitterly cold here down in Kincoid. The wind has gone though, so it's nice and still here on Rugby 1. But one thing that won't be still is the atmosphere. The ultras who have joined us. The banging of the drum commences on the far side of that pitch. They are just waiting to welcome the visitors. A hostile environment for any visitor in the BUCS Super Rugby calendar. Kincoid campus is a feared fortress, and the home record of Cardiff Met over the last few seasons is testimony to exactly that. And there he is, Vic Asmaier, the Netherlands international, the Dutch superstar. He was Fresher of the Year last year in the Cardiff Met Sports Awards. And he will be a valuable addition this evening to the Cardiff Metropolitan side. I'm pleased to say as well that my co-commentator Rob Burke is making his way up to commentary now. He's gone from a walk to a slight sprint because he's realised just how close we are getting to kick-off now. We are moments away. And the Ultras dressed for the occasion. Those guys are certainly building an atmosphere for us. Which one of them's Bob? We'll find out later. They're laying the foundations for what will be a fantastic game of rugby here on Kincoid campus's Rugby 1 pitch. And I'm very pleased to say that I won't be doing this commentary on my own. I'm beyond excited to say that Cardiff Met legend and converted lost Swansea Uni soul, now World Rugby broadcaster, Rob Burke is with me. Rob, how are you? I feel like you're a little bit out of breath.
I tell you what, mate, I'll never get sick of these introductions. I might come back more often.
Does the ego the world of good,
Yeah,
I guess,
my
doesn't
head
it?
can't fit in these headphones.
Well, look, here come the University of Bath onto the Rugby 1 pitch. Met with jubilations from the home crowd opposite us. And Rob, before we welcome Cardiff Met onto the pitch, let's get straight into it. Who are two names that you're looking out for as a head-to-head potentially this evening in the game?
Well, it was interesting to see in the women's game earlier on, the opposite numbers in the centre going head-to-head, and it was a really good battle. Jacob Wilmot is the 13 for Met today, and I'm really interested to see how he gets on in this game.
Jamie Howick, of course, lining up against him for the University of Bath. One of the 7 changes for the University of Bath's starting lineup in this game, as I've already mentioned. And a particular mention as well to keep your eyes on the front row battle. The front rows in the scrums. Alan Williams, a Newport rugby legend, running the scrum school here at Cardiff Metropolitan University. And he has certainly been teaching his boys a thing or two alongside the captain, Ben Murphy, former Prem Cup winner with Worcester Warriors, and now leading the Cardiff Met side in his 3rd year, potentially his final year here. But we said that about Joe Cowell, Rob, and he stuck around for a Masters too. Yeah,
just can't resist it. When you see the atmosphere here, you're part of the team. You just want to stay here forever, simply how I found it. I can't blame Cowler for thinking the same.
Here we go, our referee just checking that his touch officials are ready to go, and we are underway here at Kincoid campus for the first home match in the BUCS Super Rugby 2024-2025 season. And it's a lovely take for Cardiff Met to get started with, but a huge hit already from Alfie Griffin. The tight head getting stuck in from the get-go. That is a wayward pass that the Archers will want to stamp out very quickly. Messy stuff at the beginning here, Rob.
You've got me riled up for this game, mate. I can't wait. The lights are on and the sun is set, and it's just a proper Rugby 1 atmosphere here. And as you say, the players getting stuck in very early on.
It's a wall of noise on that far side of the pitch from the Cardiff Met Ultras, and Harry Rice will send this skyward. It's going to come down with ice on it. Has not travelled very far. And instead it's given Ollie Sedgwick the opportunity to bring it back for Bath. Let's see what their first attacker of the game brings. Griffin is halted in his tracks by Ollie Smith. A great tackle from the second row. Bath now looking to play wider. Jamie Howick already being brought into the fray. Keep your eyes on him, as we've mentioned already. And here comes Will Roux. No options available for him out wide, so we play forward now. Claudius Wheeler, a try scorer in the BUCS Super Rugby campaign already, the loose head. And here they come once more with Tua Palotu. Great carry from the hooker, the first one of the game for him too. Wide they go, all the way out to Tom Hughes. And Hughes can't even hit second gear before he's brought to ground. This is very exciting stuff right from the get-go here at King Coy campus. Bath playing with a very high tempo, and already it's a very physical encounter between these varsity rivals. Harry Breeze carrying now for the Brothers of Bath. Rue back on the inside to Tom Hughes. Hughes carrying really well and getting the offload away to Kid Evans. Evans meters away from scoring. Tuapalotu gets the try for the Brothers of Bath. The opening spoils go to the boys in blue. And that means it's University of Bath 5, Cardiff Metropolitan 0.
Well, it was coming. There was an opportunity for a box kick for Harry Rice just to get a bit of distance and give the Met a bit of breathing room after an onslaught in the opening few minutes, and just didn't get enough distance on the kick, and then it was relentless from Bath, and it was only really going to end one way for them. Beautiful pass in. They just needed the finish, and they found one.
Tuapalotu practically bundled over, unopposed for that try, despite the best efforts of the Cardiff Met defenders scrambling back, and conceding at home within the first 2 minutes of any match is bad, Rob. But conceding against your varsity rivals that quickly is borderline disaster.
Well, we spoke about setting a tone all day. We said that the Cardiff Met victory in the clash was a message. And Bath have come out here and really set the tone for this game, and the tone is fast.
And Will Rue hits it straight and true through the uprights. The extra 2 is added, and the University of Bath have a very comfortable 7-0 lead after just a couple of minutes here on Rugby 1.
Very impressive from Bath. Like I said, they've come out with plenty of energy, and the Met did have a chance to clear their lines. They had an opportunity just to get it away and reset. Bath, though, collected it, and they were just phenomenal.
Nicely placed kick from Steph Crimp. Fallen nicely into the arms, though, of Rembrandt Sabanga. And Bath again build from the back. Although Ian Davis is now standing over this one to box kick it. Rob, this has been a controversial one with a lot of rugby fans. They don't like the frequency of the box kick and indeed kicking between teams. What's your take on it?
Look, I think it's such a difficult skill. You've seen there a good example, and we saw a bad example, and when the bad examples happen, tries are on the cards for the opposition. So as much as you might not like seeing it, just appreciate how difficult it is in a high-paced game like this.
Penalty advantage now for Cardiff Met after that carry by Gethin Cannon. And Crimp is going to look for some territory now for the Archers. He's not going to get it though, but the referee will give us an opportunity. It's Aidan Ainsworth Cave who seems to be the one committing the foul, giving away the penalty, and forcing the Brothers of Bath back into their own half potentially, Rob.
Yeah, you'd expect a tight game here today despite the early score from Bath, and always the deciding factors then are discipline and efficiency at the set piece. And early we can see that Bath are very up for this game, but sometimes you can get a little bit overzealous in a game like this. It's a derby game. Got to make sure your discipline's in check.
Oh, a long line out here for Cardiff Met. It's just gone over the hands of Gethin Cannon though, and Tuapalotu will scramble this one back for the Brothers of Bath. They've got some width here if they want to play with it. Good hands from Howick to keep that one alive. And carrying strong into contact is Connor Treacy. I've already mentioned the England under-18 captain. He's come in as a fresher, Rob. He set the tone in this side, and he finds himself as the co-captain within weeks of arriving at the university. That speaks volumes for the sort of player he is.
Massively impressive. You know, he might be inexperienced, should I say, as a player, but sometimes you just spot the talent, and to be vice-captain, captain, whatever it is in your first year of uni, that is such a difficult thing to do and a big honour. But it comes with a lot of responsibility, so getting the captaincy, vice-captaincy is only half the battle, because once you have it, it's a difficult task to then keep performing with that additional pressure.
Ollie Sedgwick making his first mistake of the night, kicking out on the full, so we've got a line out much further up the pitch than Bath would have wanted. A little bit of trick play going on the line out by Met, but it's scrambled well, and Ollie Smith has claimed it and is now out in that back line. Crimp still looking to play it wide. Josh Carrington on the ball. Carrington, lovely offload out the tackle from Joshua Carrington, and a great carry forward still for Cardiff Met. This is playing out nicely. Johnson offloads, and in the corner goes Henry Kerwin. My goodness, what a response from Cardiff Met. And the cheers can ring out once more here on Rugby 1 because Cardiff Metropolitan have responded. The Archers have hit the bullseye.
We knew the line-out was going to be important tonight. You can see, though, they used it as a springboard. And as soon as the ball was brought down, pace on the outside. And well, it just goes to show, if you can use the set piece as a base of attack, well, you're on for a winner. And that's exactly what Cardiff Met did there.
Great hold of the ball as well from Dylan Scott. Came off his wing and really held that ball up, waited for Henry Kerwin to join him at the right moment, Rob. And it's great to see that people aren't being selfish at these early stages. They're playing as a team, they're holding on to the ball, drawing defenders and reaping the rewards as a result.
Absolutely, and we saw what happened with the set piece over on the other side. It didn't quite go to plan. Possession was conceded and nothing came of it. Second time of asking, they get it right, and this is the result.
Well, the flags stay down. No extra points. There's no cherry on top of this cake for Cardiff Met. But there's plenty more meat pies to find out there this evening, Rob.
Yeah, look, it was needed. Any points on the board at that point just to quash any ambitions of Bath running away with this, because like you say, they started so strong. Sometimes the game can get away from you inside the first 10 minutes, and that is something that Cardiff Met really needed to stop in its tracks.
Here comes Yolob now, scancering forwards out of the 22 for Cardiff Met. And another huge hit from Alfie Griffin. He is all over the place in defence, causing chaos. And Met are going to play out from here by the looks of things. Carrington now, lovely bit of footwork, but brought down before he can even make it out of the 22. Yolob again. Collides with Claudius Wheeler, and still Yolob goes. Finally brought down by Aidan Ainsworth-Cave. That's a much better kick from Harry Rice on this occasion. The scrum half finding a lot of air and a lot of distance. Oh, that was borderline forwards. I'm not sure how the linesman saw that, but here comes Cedric for Bath. Oh, and that's a spilt ball. A terrible time to have a knock-on in the middle of the pitch just when you're starting to build an attack, Rob.
It was a forced error as well. The line speed was crazy. I'm not sure how they were even onside, but like I say, quick to the ball carrier and forced the error, and they've won the penalty as well. In fact, it's an error. They've knocked it on.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up that line speed already. Can they keep this up for the full 80 minutes? I mean, just take a look at the error that they forced here.
It's ferocious. Seen it again. I saw it in real time. Couldn't quite believe it. Thought it was in 2 times speed on the replay. It's not. It's so tough to keep it up all day, but if they do, it's a recipe for a winner.
I knew that coffee in Centro tasted a bit funny. It's the caffeine strength is just through the roof.
Well, everything's in super speed when you're watching the Cardiff Met defence at the moment, but it's only a positive, really. And I'm liking what I'm seeing at the back of the breakdown as well. The pods are moving nicely. Plenty of variation as well. The overlap, they're creating different combinations out wide. We've seen it work over on the right-hand side, but if you watch now to the left, just getting themselves organised, you know where this one's going.
Crimshaw now give himself a little bit more depth to the rest of his back line as well. It's something we spoke about after the women's match. Nice tidy scrum, and Met go blind. Yolob decides to keep the ball himself, wins the collision as well against Harry Breeze, and this could be a good setup now for Cardiff Met. Murphy out the back, long looping pass by Crimp. What can Dylan Scott do with a bit of space and time on the ball? He's got some magical feet. That must be a deliberate knock-on by Bath. Well, the linesmans agree with me. It's been a slight knock-on into touch. So it will be Cardiff Met ball. Rob, that was exciting, that was enticing, and I want to see 80 more minutes of it.
Well, Dylan Scott moving like a crab across the Bath defence there, and nobody could get a hold of him. Hugely impressive, but again, they're just giving Bath so much to think about. You assumed they were going to go one way from the back of the scrum, and they send another man over, go the other way. Eventually it does come over to Dylan Scott, and he does the rest. It's positive from Met.
Unfortunately, that wasn't such a positive from Lewis Walsh. Line out going slightly askew, but you can tell they definitely want to try and target Gethin Cannon. I mean, why wouldn't you? He's a Wales under 16, under 18 and under 20 international, Rob. What a CV.
Some monsters in that Cardiff Met team, and like I said, there were a few back when I was commentating a couple of years ago. Some tall men, and I think I said earlier, it's just a conveyor belt of athletes that they bring here.
And look, if you don't want to take our word for it, just remember the famous words of Eddie Jones in an England press conference. Cardiff Met is a rugby production line.
Same goes for Bath. We spoke about the facilities actually in the build-up. Incredible university and magnificent facilities as well. Just all across BUCS, there's opportunity for young lads to create a rugby career.
And that's a difficult kick in behind. But luckily for Cardiff Met, Dylan Scott's there to deal with it. Carrington now. He's put the goose step in. Is he going to put another one in? Well, he's looking for that outside. Tuipulotu knocks the ball on, trying to intercept it though. This could be another advantage for Cardiff Met, and it will be. So Cardiff Met getting out of a very sticky situation through another mistake by the University of Bath. Ben Murphy carrying nicely now for the Archers. George Dole, the one getting on the tackles that time around, and Crimp says enough is enough. We're going to leave our 22.
Yeah, sometimes you do need to say enough's enough, because it's positive to see the players back themselves to bring it out from there, but again, they almost played themselves into danger.
Well, and Quimp won the battle there against Will Rue, but the referee saying that there was a change in angle by one of the players. He's pointing at quite a few forwards there. You can't do that. You can't deliberately change your line if you see someone coming in, Rob.
This is the issue as well. They got I want to say lucky, because there were mistakes from Bath. But again, when you try and run it from deep, it's always positive that you back yourself.
It's a great take from Crimp, wasn't it?
Oh, brilliant under the high ball.
Well, it looks as though we're going to have a line out from about 8 or so metres out here, Rob. This is touch and go time now for the Archers.
Alarm bells starting to ring when the opposition gets in this position. We saw it in the women's game earlier on, and it was the team who executed from this position better that ultimately won the game.
Oh, spilt ball, but luckily Treacy's there to gather it. The captain on the field right now, spinning out of the tackles, eventually brought down by Yallop. That was great physicality from the open side, and now Bath have a really nice platform to attack from, but Griffin is brought to the floor with an absolute shudder. I think we should have felt that on a Richter scale somewhere here in South Wales. A huge tackle coming in from Ollie Smith.
Yeah, rare missed tackle from Ben Murphy. You don't see those very often. I want to highlight it, but they're so rare, you've got to bring it up when it happens.
He's a great player, Ben Murphy. And here is that tackle replayed again, just absolutely chopped to the floor.
Well, you don't chop an oak tree down from the top, and Walsh proving exactly why there.
Goodness me, your years of age on me have given you many wisdoms.
That's not from experience, mind. I'll stay up here.
Well, now Bath are just 5 metres out from the Cardiff Met try line. And the Ultras offering their voices of chorus to spur on the Ultras, and it's put Bath off. The overthrow is collected by Yallop, and it's a great initial carry from the number 8. Met go back to the blind side. Time to get the exit strategy executed, Rob. You do not want to spend this much time that close to your own line.
You don't, but you'll back them to get out of here with a nice box kick, I'm sure. Oh, they may even drop it deep. There's enough room there. But again, you've got to execute. Oh, that was actually close to being charged down there.
Tuipulotu trying to make up for the mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. And they were in such a good position, 5 metres out with a line out. That's where you've got to execute, and it's interesting to see. I think the players know how close they are to scoring, because they'll back themselves. They'd have practiced all week, and then in the moment it matters, it falls apart.
It's always the most frustrating feeling in the world.
Like they were saying earlier, coach killers. That is exactly what it is. You banging your head against the wall.
Oh, lovely line out move. It's back with Kepu Tuipulotu going down the blind side, barreling through the defenders. Tuipulotu all the way. What a move. What a run from the hooker. And the University of Bath have taken Cardiff Met by surprise. A storming run from their star hooker, and a special mention to Harry Breeze with the quick hands.
How about atoning for your error? Forget about the line out, because he can pick it up and carry it all the way through. Tuipulotu immediately bouncing back and getting more points on the board for Bath. Unbelievable stuff.
Take a look at this again. What hands from Harry Breeze. And not one, not two, but 3 tackles bumped off by the superstar hooker. There's a reason why he's in that wider England under-20s squad. There's a reason why Bath Rugby are all over him at the moment, and he's proven exactly that.
No, he was like a bull that had seen red there, just no stopping him, and there were plenty of attempts to do so. Really impressive. Like I said, to just bounce back, one line out didn't go your way, the next one immediately fresh start, and couldn't have really gone any better.
Well, it just got that little bit better. An extra 2 points on the tally for the University of Bath takes their total to 14, and they lead Cardiff Metropolitan here on Kincoid campus by 9 points. Rob, it's a mountain that's starting to form that the Archers are going to have to climb.
It is, exactly, but they rode the wave of the initial pressure. And they got their own points on the board, but like I say, Bath went straight back at it, and even though they missed the opportunity from the first line out, 2 seconds later, and Tuapoloto's through and gets the score. So the gap's extending, but it is certainly all to play for still.
It's the man with the try assist on the ball from the kickoff, Harry Breeze. Breezing his way through this first half at the moment, it must be said. The blindside flanker is performing very well. Here comes Carrington now. What's he going to do with this ball? He's spreading the play wide, inviting in the try scorer Kerwin. Just look at the physicality of the way that these sides collide with each other every single time. Kerwin with the hot step again. I love watching this, Rob.
There's just that extra bit of passion in every tackle. I know. The thing is, at the end of the game, it'll all be handshakes, but you really get a feeling of just a bit of venom.
Lovely high kick from Steph Crimp, and it caused a lot of trouble in the backfield for Bath, but it didn't pay off for the Archers. It did bounce off Henry Bartlett there for a second, but luckily Bath, for them, they've been able to recover so far. It'd be interesting to see if we have more of those in this game.
Yeah, the little spiral bomb causing issues at Rugby 1. The headlights are up and bright. Here's another.
Well taken, though, by the under-20s Eagle. And here's Cedric now, sending it on one more to Rue. Plenty of time on the ball there, Will Rue, and Carrington had to use his feet at first to deal with that one, and it's gone out on the full. So Bath have inched their way back inside Cardiff Met territory, and it's kicking battles like that that can be boring after a while, but prove vital in gaining metres on the pitch.
Oh, that last kick from Bath, it was a cheeky one. He just put some spin on it, rolling over itself, the ball when it arrived at the Met player, and causing the issue, but that was planned. It wasn't working for them, the typical kick, so we just put a little bit of flair on it.
We're just taking a moment to get restarted here because Claudius Wheeler is receiving some treatment from the University of Bath physios, but it looks like he's okay to continue. And do you want to know one of the fun facts that I got given about Mr. Wheeler ahead of this fixture from their chairman?
Go on, mate.
So the chairman, JT, this is the one who's responsible for this. Apparently Claudius Wheeler's mum makes an absolutely phenomenal quiche. That's what he wanted to say is the interesting thing about Claudius Wheeler. Not the fact that he's scored 2 tries this season, not the fact that he's the biggest lifter in the squad in terms of weights in the gym, but his mum makes a banging quiche.
Right, I've had some obscure commentary notes in my time, but I like that one.
Here we go then, getting on with proceedings here. Rugby 1, another overthrow right in front of the Ultras. This is not going well at the line out time for Bath. It's paying off for Cardiff Met, and it's gone all the way out wide now to Dylan Scott, crabbing his way back infield like you said, Rob. And it was more great backs work from the likes of Josh Carrington, but Bath have come through the middle now. Kit Evans taking the ball, the former Brighton College boy, and that's a spilt ball in the tackle by Alfie Griffin, and it's just getting a bit scrappy out there, Rob.
Yeah. Again, Harry Rice just kind of moving before he's actually picked up the ball. He's thinking 2 steps ahead, and his body just didn't keep up there. Losing out.
Well, good work from the Cardiff Met pack, slowing that ball down, and they're giving Ian Davis a nice platform to kick from here, Bath, and that one again has got the height but no distance, but because it's been slapped back wildly by Cardiff Met, this is causing all sorts of trouble now for Dylan Scott, who's been barraged by the University of Bath. Here come the brothers, all in force, trying to get that ball back, but luckily it's now with Ben Murphy, and the Archers still can't really breathe a sigh of relief. They need to get this ball back up the other end of the field, and quickly, almost another charge down.
The accent might come out when I say this, but that was a stinking kick to deal with for Cardiff Met.
Are you sure you're from Port Colin? It doesn't come across.
Sorry, mother, but it was.
Well, here come Bath once more. Meters out from the 22, and they have the penalty advantage. It's a free play chance now. Big collision on Wheeler once more. The loose head is no stranger to carries in this game. Rue out the back now. Bath looking to get this ball moving out wide, and Kit Evans decides to take it himself. Lovely kick along the ground. This could work out for Will Rue. In the corner for Will Rue! I'm just keeping my eyes on the referee to see what the decision is.
No try.
Wow.
That would have been huge. Unbelievable flair with the grubber kick there. That's what you love to see.
It happens with the territory of this being the greatest league in the land. Decisions can come down to a matter of centimetres, not inches, Rob, centimetres. Slightly offside, slightly to the left, slightly too much to the right. And it means that they don't come away with a try, and they have to go all the way back for their penalty advantage. But I know for a fact, Rob, they'd much prefer the 5.
The thing is, it deserved a finish, I have to say. The kick was just so creative, and they just move it with such pace. Anything could happen, and the Cardiff Met players need to be on the swivel, because stuff like that can instantly have them running back to their own try line.
Take a look at the far side of the pitch, and the way that the Ultras are now migrating from one end of the stand to the other to get as close as physically possible to that line out and put off Kepu Tuipulotu.
It's just rough taking a line out over there. Rough is the only word. You just gotta take it. They'll want to get out of here as quick as possible.
But Breeze has claimed the ball from Tuipulotu's throw-in, but that's great maul defence so far from Cardiff Met. In come the cavalry, and the back line is joining in, trying to push back this Brothers of Bath effort. But they split away. Tuipulotu's out the back potentially for another score. Kepu Tuipulotu, he's got a brace. He's doubled his tally. And the University of Bath are in the corner for another score, and they are shocking and silencing the Archer Ultras.
He's a bit of a mentality monster, that number 2. Again, we talked about his first try coming off the back of a line-out, perhaps not going the way he'd planned. He's had to go over there. There's 100 Ultras behind him. He's delivered an inch-perfect line-out, and then he's finished it off against what was initially a really good Archers push.
A false sense of security and hope there from that initial counter shove. And disappointingly for Cardiff Met, Bath are the ones that have come away with the points. Well, let's see if the extra 2's added now from Will Rue.
Again, a real tough place to be taking a kick. They are respectful over there, though. Working construction men as they are today.
I didn't even need to look for the flags on that one, Rob. I got told what the outcome was from that kick by the fans on the far side. No extra points for Bath on this occasion, but still they have a 19-5 lead here on King Coyd Campus's Rugby 1 pitch in the first home BUCS Super Rugby fixture for Cardiff Met in their 2024-2025 campaign. And things are really starting to heat up now as we enter the closing stages of this first half. Also, now is the time to try and put the wrongs right. Now is the time for Cardiff Met to get their foot on the gas.
There's not many teams that can boast such a margin in a half of rugby here at King Coyd.
Well, good initial break there from Breeze from the kickoff for Bath. And the ref thought about a knock on there for a second, but I felt like the linesman came in to deny that. Davis now sending this down the throat of Carrington. And he's giving it to Yolk. Surely he's going to run that himself. No. Crimp now flings that wide to Dylan Scott. He's got the fancy feet to surely make something happen. He's gained some good ground there for Met. Yolop again. Moving out of one tackle but into another. Nice quick ball for the Archers, and Crimp goes on his own. He needs the support there quickly. And there's no release there from Claudius Wheeler, so the loose head concedes a penalty, and it's a lovely opportunity for Cardiff Met to send themselves deep inside Bath territory.
Yeah, it's a shame to see Dylan Scott having to deal with the ball so deep in his own half. You just feel that if they can get him on the ball anywhere inside opposition territory, he can make something happen, because even after they wrap him up, he still nicks a couple of yards post-contact.
Now that's a big mistake to make from a penalty kick, not finding touch. And rather than going deep inside the 22, Cardiff Met now only find themselves just inside the Bath half. Here's a replay of the penalty being awarded. And let's see how Cardiff Met function here. Will it be to the back? No one was lifted there, but Gethin Can is there to tidy things up. Rob, they've got to stamp out these mistakes.
Guards will be fuming. I think that's how I would put it. Stuff like that, they're better than this. They're better than this. Nerves, big occasion, perfect start to the season, all reasons why mistakes like that can happen. Certainly isn't anything to do with ability.
Crimp was looking for a bit more territory there, but only found Bartlett, the winger for Bath. Taken quickly, though, by Josh Carrington. And now Crimp, little chip over the top, into Tuipulotu, taken in the air. This is heating up.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, Rob. You don't need a Nando's heat scale to figure out that this is certainly turning into a spicy occasion.
Oh, you could see it coming from a mile off. It was a lovely little chip over the top, and it looked as though he was going to get on the end of it, and you just knew he was going to take him in the air there without a question.
Well, thankfully, because the fall wasn't too violent for Kepu Tuipulotu, Steph Crimp has got off with a warning here, Rob. He's got to be squeaky clean now the rest of the match.
Yeah, it was nothing sinister. He just thought, have it in the moment. You know, in a game like this, yeah, I think the referee's dealt with it well. You don't want to go dishing out yellow cards for stuff like that.
Well, there's a mistake there in the backfield by Harry Rice. The kick was going well beyond the scrum half and into the 22. No, he didn't touch it. He put an arm out, Rob, as if he was going to try and catch that, but it was going well beyond him and out beyond the dead ball line. And we're going to come all the way back now. It will be a Cardiff Met scrum. Goodness me, I don't know how many get out of jail for free cards you get in BUCS Super Rugby, but it's fair to say Cardiff Met have played their first one.
I'll tell you what, I've got to have a neck like a giraffe when it's down in that right-hand corner. I love this gantry, it's keeping me nice and dry, but couldn't quite see what was going on there. But again, if it's mistakes happening for Met, they've got to block them out.
Gone are the days of you commentating in that shed at the end of the pitch here on Rugby 1, Rob.
We've had a gazebo. I remember the gazebo. That was the tough one. Windiest day of the year, and me and Griff are hanging on for dear life.
I remember it well. We went down to one camera, didn't we?
Oh, it was tough. Yeah, I remember the guys. I bless the camera guys.
Well, but here we go now. Plenty more cameras to watch this action unfold. Crimp once more trying to spread the ball. And here comes Dylan Scott. Scott doing superbly well. The offload was trying to find Crimp once more. But instead, Harry Breeze managed to get his mitts on it for the University of Bath. And they've turned ball over in the red zone at the crucial moment. There's no surprise that Alfie Griffin went to floor nice and easily there.
Oh, it was brilliant from Harry Breeze because he almost caught the offloader off guard. It was a case of he just appeared out of nowhere, and I don't think Dylan Scott had any idea that he was going to give the ball away there.
Well, this box kick has found touch. Carrington deciding on that occasion not to go quickly. Henry Kerben looked up and he didn't quite have the room in front of him that he would have wanted, the former Harlequins and London Broncos player. Be interesting to talk in a little bit more detail about his rugby league experience and how that will benefit him here in BUCS Super Rugby, Rob. But for now, we're going to turn our attention back to line-outs. Hopefully a better one for the Archers. And it is a better functioning one for Ollie Smith to gather. Hands that off to Liam Jones, and now it's with Lewis Walsh at the base. Met making some meters here from the driving maul, but they've got to use it quickly. Great carry from Yollop. The number 8 is all over this park. We're absolutely here for it as well. Big hit going in there on Liam Jones. Bath just starting to turn their own physicality up in defence as well, because Med have been doing it since the get-go, and Bath now matching them too. That's a lovely high ball for Cedric to come forward and challenge for. He's taken it really well here, the fullback. He's showing exactly why, Rob, he's one to watch in this squad.
Yeah, he's been exceptional, cleaning up at the back.
Well, this ball's going to go right down to the corner. We thought for a moment that it might go out beyond the dead ball line, but instead it bounced just inside. I'd love to see an angle of that again. Sometimes the ball just bounces for you, Rob, And at the moment, it's feeling like one of those nights where the ball will continue to bounce in favour of the University of Bath.
Yeah, we spoke about momentum and we wondered whether the Cardiff Met try would have swung that momentum. All it really did was give us a break in what Bath were bringing to the game. They've been pretty perfect so far, other than that 5 points that they did concede. But the thing for Met is, you saw not too long ago, when they nail the line out, they give themselves a platform to build off. We saw it with the try. We saw it again there. An easy takedown. Immediately the rolling maul is charging into the Bath half. And you just think, when they are in those dangerous positions inside opposition 22, all they need to do is crack the line out, and Bath are there for the taking at times.
Well, it's no surprises that Kepo Tuipulotu is still feeling that hit earlier from Steph Crimp.
That'll be a big loss if he goes off.
He's been vital so far in this game for the University of Bath, and we definitely don't want to see him go off, because he provided a lot of entertainment for us as well as neutrals, Rob. But
yeah.
A quick word, actually. This is a rivalry. This is a derby here this Wednesday night at King Coy campus. It's a derby weekend in the Gallagher Premiership as well, being covered on TNT Sports this weekend. Plenty of BUCS Super Rugby alumni in there. Just how vital is this league in terms of feeding into the Gallagher Prem?
Oh, it's huge, mate. Like, everyone talks about Dom Brandt. I don't know how many people mentioned that he wasn't really a rugby man when he came here. He was a cricket man. That was his sport. Obviously a talented athlete. But he's come here and, like you said...
Sorry to interrupt you, Rob. Another massive overthrow there from Tuipulotu. Finds Arlu Yolop, and Met have got out of jail once again. And a little bit of offside potentially there from Tuipulotu too. But they found touch, and Cardiff Met can gain themselves a bit of breathing space and a bit of time for you to breathe a bit more life into that story as well, Rob.
No, it comes down to the fact that, you know, we're doing our commentary notes tonight. You read about the players, you know, X number of carries, looking like he's a good player, play for this, play for that. And then you see them here tonight and it really comes to life. And the beauty of BUCS, that it gives these players a platform and an opportunity to be seen by the world. The amount of coaches' videos that are grainy, there's no commentary, you can't even tell who you're watching. BUCS provides HD quality coverage of these players. Their show reels are better than anyone.
Well, I'll tell you what's also in HD, that huge hit from Liam Jones on Connor Treacy. Treacy will certainly feel that one in the morning after this, and that's another huge hit going in from the blindside flanker. Liam Jones has been set alight in this fixture, and all of a sudden Bath have been set to spoil their attack, and now is with Carrington on the far side. Kerwin now, the try scorer for Cardiff Met, getting themselves well out of their 22, well out of harm's way now in this fixture. And Cardiff Met trying to play out their half, but a huge hit going in by Aidan Ainsworth-Cave. That's why he's involved with the Northampton Saints setup.
Oh my word, what a hit. That's what you love. You love to see it though. Like you say, it is a derby. And it's all played in good spirit. That's what I like. The good thing about Bath is they dish it out, but they take it. There's no... It's very rarely do they bicker.
It's not like a game against Swansea.
That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
I had to take your previous alma mater into this, didn't I? Well, here we go. Another great kick for territory by the University of Bath. We're right down deep inside the Met 22. And Rob, I think that we need to talk about it now. We've not actually left this 22 a lot in the game.
Yeah, we saw, again, drawing comparisons to the women's game that we saw earlier. Cardiff Met had Exeter pinned in their own half. The point was Cardiff Met couldn't really come away. They had 5 visits to the 22, no points. For Bath, they've gone into the 22 and they've come away with a fair few. So that is the difference, being clinical when you do go into the 22. And I imagine the conversion rate is pretty good so far.
We've got just about 5 minutes left on the clock. This would be a huge moment now for Bath to score another try and really round off their first half performance. There's another mistake at the line out though. And they're going to have to try and work something from nothing here. Breeze wants more carrying. The opposition's blindside flanker also dishing it out just as well as Cardiff Met. And that's another spilt ball by Tuipulotu. I think at this stage you have to start asking the question, Rob, whether he does need to go off, because that's a number of mistakes carrying into contact. Whether it's an injury he's picked up or a concussion that needs to be looked into, that's very uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah, look, he's been brilliant so far. I've been really impressed, and I think you don't need me to tell you who the standout players are. They're speaking for themselves, and it is nice to see that when you read about these players, you know, Tuipulotu, under-18s, under-20s squad, you know.
There, see, it's very uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah. Look, as I was saying, it's nice to see that the players live up to what's on paper, and it's always been a trait of BUCS Super Rugby. Someone tells you Roma Zeng's a baller, all you have to do is watch 10 minutes and you can see that.
Well, stick with us for a little bit longer than 10 minutes, because after this half we've got another 40 minutes of BUCS Super Rugby action here in round 3 of this year's competition. Another huge collision in the middle of the field. My goodness, I could feel that from here, Rob.
Straight into Pound Town.
And here we go now, another good carry for Dylan Scott. Trying to use those magic feet to magic something up here for Cardiff Met. They really need a boost right now, this squad, because they're giving it absolutely everything in the carries, in the collisions. And they just aren't coming away with the points. But a penalty now for not rolling away. Tuipulotu conceding that one. And the Brothers of Bath are marched back 10.
It's good to see this Drill City down there at the moment. Just massive hits left, right and centre. And it's all very well going head-to-head with Bath, but they've got a big squad and they are strong. And like I say, we haven't had too many visits up the other end of the field. If I asked you, you know, how many people have stood up that end of the pitch, I'm not sure you could tell me. We haven't really looked over there.
We speak about the size of these packs. People have spoken to Ben Murphy before about this Cardiff Met pack, and he said, we know that we're not the biggest pack in the BUCS Super Rugby League, but we can definitely be the technically best pack in the league and have the best skills. And they are showing that in glimpses at the moment with another clean line out. And Crimp is now throwing this one out to Carrington. Carrington looking once more for Kerwin on that far side. He carries well into contact and through the tackle as well. Cardiff Met have a great platform to play with. Ben Murphy, the captain, soldiers forward now for Met. Back to the blind side they go with Rice. That's pinged up into the air, but luckily Kerwin can tidy that one up for the Archers. Here we go again. Good hands from Smith. Cannon now. And Crimp has to say enough is enough. We've gone back too far here. We've conceded too many yards from an attack. Is that one going to roll dead? It just does. And Cardiff Met will be marched all the way back to the halfway line. Steph Cribb is furious with that, Rob.
Yeah, and you can understand why. We nearly had a carbon copy of the first try from that line out. You can see they really do work well from that platform. And when it is taken down neatly, they stay composed and they get the ball across the field very quickly. And all of a sudden the space is there, but Bath are just doing a good job. They got across and they made the tackle, and this time unlucky with the kick from Met. But again, it's really because Bath dealt with it better this time. They learned from the first time, and this time there was no room. It's very evident you can't give the Met wingers much space if you want to stay in the lead.
They've certainly shown the ability to cause a bit of carnage here, the Met wingers, and the moment they're being kept at bay, and I mentioned earlier we're going to talk about it a bit more. Henry Kerwin is an interesting character on that far side in the distinctive blue scrum hat on the wing for Cardiff Met. I mentioned earlier, former Harlequins and London Broncos. A little bit of rugby league experience there, Rob, and we know for a fact the rugby league players love a bit of contact. That's the whole reason why they play league at the end of the day, Rob. They don't like the rucks, they don't like the scrums or the lineouts. They just live for the contacts in the carrying. So what does that bring to a winger's game in BUCS Super Rugby?
Look, on the 7 series I work with a lot of Kiwis, and they're a big fan of the rugby league over there, and I think any kind of rugby experience you can get is good, but rugby league certainly gives you those skills when you are a breakaway player.
Well, that's gone out on the full again from Will Rue. Well, the linesman's judging it to not have done. And I believe that is half-time here at Kincoid Campus. Well, a disappointing first half for the Cardiff Met Archers. They trail 5 points to 19 at home. Their first home appearance here on Rugby 1 in the BUCS Super Rugby campaign. And Ian Gardner has got his work cut out for him if he's going to keep this perfect start going, Rob. Give me one thing that Cardiff Met need to do better going into that second half, and potentially one thing that Bath are doing just too well right now that means that they are the team out in the lead.
Look, they have to absolutely get rid of all those silly mistakes. We saw penalty kicks not reaching touch, just uncharacteristic things from Cardiff Met that put them in a difficult position. The line out, when it works, it's such an effective way for Cardiff Met to get forward. We saw it with a try. We nearly saw a carbon copy of it at the end of the half, and I think if they can get that line out more consistent and absolutely get rid of the mistakes, they're in for a good second half. As for Bath, look, they're playing very well, and there's a guy with a big number 2 on his back that is a massive reason why they're playing so well, and it's my first time seeing him play, and look, maybe one mistake from him in the first half, and like you said, it's uncharacteristic, and you know better than me, but he is something special, that number 2 for Bath.
Well, look, he demonstrated his professionalism. He made a mistake, and instantly, I think it was literally the next play, all of a sudden he was scoring in the corner after a blistering 20-metre run. That obviously will get bigger and bigger the more that he recounts the story. It will eventually become a 60-metre run from a line out.
Put a lid on Tuipulotu. That's exactly what the Cardiff Met have to do. Look, put a lid on him. Put him under pressure, whatever you have to do. He's been exceptional in the first half.
But look, Rob, there's something else that we need to talk about. We should mention that today's live stream is a very special one. It's being staffed by a whole host of Sports Broadcast Masters alumni, including ourselves. Look, how great is it that a course like this exists in the UK, providing young people with practical, hands-on industry experience that sends them off to enjoy fruitful careers in the broadcast and sports media industry?
Look, I've always been pretty vocal with how much this course did for me, my education, and then putting me in a position where when I go into real studios, I'm ready to... I think the better word is comfortable. They make you industry ready so that when you do walk into a broadcast room, I have to go to Glasgow tomorrow to work for World Rugby, and it's exactly the same as this. They create industry ready graduates who aren't afraid to be in this kind of situation. It's an exceptional course, and look, I'm buzzing for the new guys coming in. I remember my first day, couldn't wait to get stuck in, and they've got one of the best years in education they'll possibly have.
Well, and from one pair of alumni to a trio of alumni down pitch side, Meg Joyce, you've got some special guests.
Indeed, I am currently joined by 2 former Met students. I've got Joe Cowell and Matt Yorwith-Scott with me. Boys, how are we?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Good, and I've heard that you've kind of taken a step from university level rugby up a level, and you're now both pro. You've got Matt, you're playing for the Ospreys, Joe, Cardiff Rugby. How have you found that transition?
Yeah, it's been, signed from Jan last year, and then this year got invited in for pre-season, and yeah, it's gone well. It's a step up, but it's enjoyable. It's nice to be finally in the pro game, but lot to learn, but it's good.
And Joe, for yourself?
Yeah, obviously very fortunate to be given the opportunity to go with Cardiff Rugby. Obviously very lucky to have the programme here at Cardiff Met, which is very similar to what it's like in the professional ranks. So yeah, really lucky to be part of it, and enjoying it so far.
And do you miss these kind of nights?
Yeah, you definitely miss it. I think once you leave, you finally understand that what's gone, but obviously still got a lot of boys still playing for Cardiff Met, so any excuse to come back and watch on a Wednesday night, really.
And Matt, what about for you? Are you enjoying being this side of things for a change? Or?
Yeah, it's a change. I missed the Wednesday nights down on Rugby 1. It was a great experience being at Met. I learned a lot during my time here, and it's nice to see the boys doing well and back on Rugby 1.
And how have you found going from university to professional? What are the comparisons between the two? Obviously,
it's the physicality of it, really, and just the time you have to make decisions. It's a fast game. The pro game is much more physical than uni rugby, but the standard at uni is always a bit, especially the last 5-6 years. It's been really good, but it's good.
Oh, good. I'm glad. So it has been a thrilling first half here, although it hasn't gone quite in Met's favour yet. However, that doesn't mean that the Ultras are quiet, and the Archers are going to need all the help they can get. So let's take a look at how the Ultras can help.
What about this crowd here tonight?
They're like the 16 man. They bring it every single week. We can feed off them every time there's a big hit. We can hear them roaring. We can't really hear the Cardiff Uni fans. We can just hear them. So it's brilliant. I love them.
The crowd's amazing. It keeps us alive. It keeps our heads up, and we feed off of it on the field.
I think it actually actually probably inspired them, given them a lift there. I think it's always tough, isn't it? You can look at it as a distraction, for what's happening off the field and taken away from the rugby. But actually, I think for our girls, we've talked about how it's a distraction, and we've talked about how we can refocus ourselves into the game and to focus on the rugby. So yeah, it's great having the crowd, and I think the girls energise the girls rather than distract them.
I think you saw what it meant to them at the end of the game when they went over to the crowd and all their families are here. It's a proud moment for them and a proud moment for the club and the university. And I think that, it is a one-off game, this, and we've started well in previous seasons by winning the first couple of games, but we've had a few low spells as well. So it's up to us to keep on building and keep on growing now. And I think that's going to be the key message moving forward for us.
Well, the Ultras certainly helped for that Cardiff clash. And for you both, did you find it useful, or can it be a distraction?
No, I definitely think it helps. They normally say it's like that, the 16th man when you're on the field, and I think when your backs are against the wall and if the game's tight and you're defending on your own line, and you can hear the boys shouting and screaming during the game, it definitely gives you that extra 5-10% to get off a line. But whenever we play down at Rugby 1, there's always been a great atmosphere and the boys always come out in force, so never any complaints from me really.
And Matt, what about you? How did you always find it with the Ultras screaming behind you?
Yeah, it's nice to have the boys behind you. They're brilliant, bringing the support every week, and since I was a first year here, it's always been a good crowd and still going. So I can't fault the boys, but no, it's just that extra motivation, get you off the floor. It is a massive difference. It makes a massive difference.
Speaking of motivation, what do you think that Ian Gardner will be saying to the boys right now during half time?
Probably just to up the physicality a little bit. I think maybe just to tighten up a few things in the midfield. They had a couple of opportunities. Josh Carrington in the first half stood out for me, but I just think when an opportunity arises, you've got to take it, especially against a good Bath team. You can see that they can score from anywhere, so it's just one of those things. You just tighten up a little bit, but not to panic. It's only 19-5 half time, and the past 2 weeks they've gone in the lead, but it'd be a good test of character today to see whether they can come back from it.
Matt, what do you think that Met need to do in this second half to get that scoreline back?
Yeah, I think they've got to be more clinical in their own half. A couple of kicks out on the full. Rugby's a massive momentum game, and they just need to take control of that. Try and be more clinical in the red zone. But line-out's going well, scrum's going well, so I think boys up the physicality a bit. Bath are winning some collisions. It makes a massive difference if you can get on top, get that second man in and disrupt the ball. But no, I think the boys will put it back.
Yeah, well, good to hear. And how do you think that Bath will be feeling right now that they have got that advantage?
Well, I think they'll obviously be quite happy. I think a lot of their planned moves have paid off in the first half, but again, there's another 40 minutes to go, and I think in BUCS Rugby anything can happen, especially on Rugby 1. So I think they'll be happy with the first half, but I think they just need to try and carry it on and try and see the game out.
And how did you find these kind of varsity, non-varsity matches against Bath? What do they mean?
Yeah, obviously, every BUCS Rugby game is a big game, but it always adds that extra little bit of spice when you play against your varsity side, whether that's in Bath or whether it's at home. It's always a big occasion. You can see there's already a bit of a crowd here, and I think like I said earlier with the Ultras, there's a lot of noise, and yeah, we'll add that little 5% more to want to try and get out and hopefully get the win.
And let's just touch briefly back on your professional. Are you excited for this season?
Yeah, I've only been in there 10 weeks now, so already played against, had a couple of URC appearances. I've been fortunate, stuck in the deep end, but no, it's good. It's a brilliant standard of rugby, as all pro leagues are. But no, I'm just looking forward to growing. A lot of learning as two young tight dead. So. No, it's just got to keep developing, keep on it, and hopefully get some more games.
Okay. And Joe, what about for you? What are your hopes for this season?
Yeah, obviously, just to try and find my feet a little bit, kind of get into that professional lifestyle. Coming in every day and training with Welsh internationals, British Lions and stuff. It's a great experience for myself as well. So, I'm learning every day, and just hopefully, get a bit of game time with Cardiff RFC and just see what happens this year. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you think you'll always keep a teeny bit of Met in your heart somewhere?
Once an archer, always an archer, aren't you? So yeah, always.
You're going to come to many more of these home games?
Yeah, I'll always make an effort. I think if, on Wednesday night on Rugby 1 is pretty hard to turn down. So yeah, whenever they're home, I'll make an effort to come down and watch them.
Well, thank you very much, both. I'll let you enjoy the second half of this game. And I'll throw back up to our commentators. James, Rob?
Thank you, Meg. Gosh, it's so good to see famous faces like Joe Cowell and Matthew Alworth-Scott here with us once again at Rugby 1. They are legends, really, of the Alan Williams School of Scrummaging here on Kincoid campus. Rob, how much would you want to just throw them into the mix right now? How much of you, deep down inside, just wants to go, Joe, stick the jersey on, get out on the pitch, Math, get those boots on, off you go.
It's nice to see some familiar faces down here. Like I said, it gave me the fright of my life when I checked the team sheet and saw that I didn't recognise anybody. I don't feel that old often, but I did feel old seeing that there were no players left from my year. But it's nice to see they're still around, still supporting the club. And like I say, if they could boot up for us right now, it would make a massive difference, because they are two exceptional players, and they'll probably, they will be remembered for a long time, because, when you talk about passion and wanting to play for the badge, look no further than those two there.
Matthew Alworth-Scott of particular fame here on Cardiff Met Sport TV. Actually, he gave the first ever Welsh language interview on BUCS television or on Cardiff Met Sport TV, live interview on coverage. So big shout out to him, and of course to Griffith Eric, who gave that interview in Cymraeg. Look, the second half is about to begin, Rob. We can see the Brothers of Bath running out now from the corner of the pitch. Let's go back to what you said that they needed to work on coming into this second half. We've already praised them. Now we need to give them something that they've got to work on.
Yeah, look, keep a lid on Tui Pilatu. That's step one. And I think really getting the wingers in a dangerous position further up the field. We can see... You see how tricky Dylan Scott is, and we saw the try as well, where that came from over on the other side. So they're clearly capable, these wingers, but every time they bring in their footwork to the play, they're in their own half. They're so deep, and they're working hard to bring their team out, and I respect that absolutely. But look, they can do some damage if they can just get the ball in opposition territory, and I think that's got to be step one. Or step two, should I say?
Well, look, this is a fiercely competitive league. We've spoken about that load so far in coverage, and we've seen that reflected in the results that have come through so far today. Exeter defeated the University of Nottingham 46-17 down in the southwest, and the latest in the Loughborough University versus Cardiff game is that Loughborough are up 21-14. So Cardiff at the moment are bouncing back from a disappointing round 2 to potentially shock the reigning champions in round 3.
Look, that just underscores last week's result even more, just showing that perhaps Cardiff, they're no mugs, Cardiff University. They've always got good players. It might not be as much of a priority there. They've got, like I say, plenty of talent. But for Met to do what they did, and then Cardiff come out this week and show that they actually are still a team, it's impressive. I'm sure the Met boys will take some confidence from that.
Well, here's a headline for you going into the second half, Rob. Vikas Meyer, the Dutch international, is on. Fresher of the year 2024 is here and ready to make an impact on Rugby 1. He's going to get us started here in the second half. And the floodlights still illuminating us here on a Wednesday night at Kincoid campus. And Breeze getting the first carry of the half into.
Yeah, it's interesting. You leave Cardiff Met and you start working in the industry, and you come across archers absolutely everywhere. And I was doing notes of the WXV Netherlands and noticed that Maya was playing for the Delta recently. They're all over the place, archers everywhere.
It's that rugby production line that Eddie Jones was speaking of, and it's really fruitful for the rugby world as a whole. Here comes Sedgwick. Still looking for more fruitful events from him in this game. Carrington did really well to keep that in play. Not such a friendly pass for Meyer to deal with, and that's gone off the outside of his boot. He's not made the meters he would have wanted there. Cardiff Met coming under early pressure, Rob.
Well, mate, welcome to the game. How about that for an introduction? Good morning, I hope you switched on, and luckily he was there. But yeah, Meyer, a bit of a difficult one for him to deal with early on.
Very much so. The second-year economics student has probably been crunching the numbers when it comes to the statistics at half-time and figuring out how he can exploit the University of Bath team to his advantage. And unfortunately, he won't be through many more kicks like that. But let's see what shift he puts in defensively now to stop the brothers in this red zone area. Yollet flying up now on Jan Davis. Murphy joining in with the tussle, and there's been a knock-on by Cardiff Met. So we will have a scrum, and it will be Bath ball. Promising signs that that's how they're going to start their red zone defence.
Yeah, look, they were just super keen to push up there and, cause hassle, really, for the Bath attack, and that's exactly what they did. Mistakes can happen when you're kind of pushing that quickly, and unfortunately, from a Met point of view, that is what happened, and gives Bath a decent platform on the 22 to build from this, and it'll be interesting to see how the scrum gets on.
First scrum of the second half. Time to set the tone now between the packs. And we'll just go for a straight reset here.
It's interesting what you said about Cardiff Met maybe not being the biggest pack in the league, but being the most technical, and they're going to need to be pretty technical today.
Oh, don't quote me on that. That's Ben Murphy.
Okay.
The wise words of the now third year. Long gone are the days of him being a fresher from when I first started at Cardiff Met on this master's course. He is a third year now. He's got the wealth of experience behind him, and those are very wise words for a third year, actually.
Look, mate, yeah, 100%. I couldn't, they don't make jerseys small enough for me to fit in. So, like, at the end of the day, it's pretty rich for me sitting up here saying they're not the biggest, but it's more to do with the fact that Bath are just big lads, and it's a tough one.
Well, here comes the carry from the base for George Dole, and Dole managed to keep this one alive. It's now with Will Rue. Rue couldn't find any more friends out there to get involved. Lovely tip back inside to Henry Bartlett coming in from Tom Hughes, and Bath are keeping this attack alive, and they're going ever closer to that Cardiff Met corner. Here's a big carry from Treacy. They've got to reset this nice and quickly, Bath, to keep that momentum up. Will Rue going to the far side now. It's just over the head of Tom Hughes. He can't control it. And that's the end of the Bath attack. And it's time for Cardiff Met to get out of trouble.
Lewis Walsh knocking his opposite number for 6 there. Big old tackle, and in the end they switched the play and almost came off with them. Just before the replay here, big tackle comes in. I like the invention. Story could have been very different there.
Well, the Ultras have certainly not lost their voice, Rob. Let's hope they can encourage their side on to a successful exit now from close to their line. Breeze has stolen that ball for Bath. It's their turn now to attack. George Dole charges towards the line. Vikas Meyer is getting involved from the get-go. Great first hit from him. Will Rue to Breeze. Breeze brought down by Kerwin, the try scorer, the sole try scorer for Cardiff Met in this game so far. Bath really firing on all cylinders at the beginning of this second period. Max Pearce is on for his 28th BUCS Super Rugby cap, and that's his first carry out of the way, so no more Kepu Tuipulotu in this game for Bath, but there could be plenty more tries. Another huge carry from another huge front rower for Bath. They just continue to keep coming. Cannon offering his arms and shoulders to try and stop Bath in their tracks. And that's a nice carry from Saibanga. It looks as though Bath are committed to this forwards picking and going game. And here goes the Saints, Ainsworth Cave. But he can't find the try line. Inches out, Griffin! Just short of the line now. Bath really building towards something special. And it must be there, surely no, still short. No, it is a try. I thought the try had been scored, Rob. I didn't have the confidence to back myself fully, but the referee has agreed with me. And Bath have the first score of this second half, and a bonus point to take away no matter what the outcome.
Look, there was a 1-by-1 bit of real estate on the try line there, and it's been picked out and dotted down. Credit where it's due, they were pretty relentless there. You did feel that it was only a matter of time before somebody found a yard, and that's exactly what happened. And it didn't start there. They were running at such velocity in the build-up to that try. I think Henry Kerwin's scrum cap was knocked off his head, actually, making a tackle, so I think it's fair to say it was coming.
A literal embodiment of putting your body on the line. The fact that his scrum cap popped off there, and Will the extra 2 come now through the boot of Will Rue?
There's plenty of time, but as you say, when your scrum cap's knocked for 6.
Well, there's the extra 2. And Will Rue stepping into some what were very big boots to fill with the departure of Jack Woods into the Bath rugby camp for this week towards their Gallagher Premiership fixture on the weekend. He has filled them, he has exceeded our expectations, and he's so far steering Bath into a 26-5 lead, Rob.
Well, there's positive signs for Met, absolutely, but Bath, in fairness to them, they've been pretty surgical with how they've approached this game. Scoring the tries, getting the conversions, set piece has been consistent. They've scored in a variety of ways as well. I think that's what's impressive, and when they've had the opportunity, perhaps from a penalty advantage, to show us the flair that they have going forward, they've done that.
Too much chat is the call from the referee, coming from Arthur Moore.
Wow, it was that as well. I was confused there. I was wondering where the whistle went, and he was pointing at 2 players.
He singled out...
So ref, give us a break.
He singled out Liam Jones and Arthur Moore, and he just made that little chatting sign. He's had enough of it. He sent them packing.
That's just not what you want to see, the referee giving you that.
Goodness me. And Arthur Moore will be particularly fired up for this fixture, Rob. Do you want to know why?
What is that?
Former Bath Rugby Academy.
He's
so
another lad and
extra layer to this for him.
It's tough transitioning from a rival uni.
No, well, it all worked out for the best for you, mate. I'm sure it will this evening for Arthur Moore too. Breeze once again taking nice clean ball, and that's a little bit over the top of Rue's head, but it's still working out nicely here. George Dole, he's been carrying brilliantly for Bath this evening, and he continues to do so even there. Max Pearce looping all the way around from that throw-in to take the following carry too. Treacy, been a bit quiet so far at the beginning of this second half, but sometimes it's the players that act quiet and actually make the biggest impact, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm really impressed with a couple of the lads out there. Harry Breeze for Bath has impressed me, just so quick thinking from the breakdown. He won an interception in the first half, and I just saw there aren't many players that would be switched on enough to not only get in the way but catch the ball as well.
Well, that's fallen way too short for Carrington. He wasn't able to take it, so he had to kick it forward. It's been kicked forward to Sedgwick. Great tackle.
Minefield, that was.
Great tackle from Ben Murphy there. And that's another great tackle from Connell Couch also. A little bit of a late hit there from Moore, just letting the Bath team know that he's there, but the Ultras enjoyed it.
He's so late, he's tackled the replay there. I can't believe he's got away with that.
Cannon now, trying to get Met some momentum back. But unfortunately, that chance has passed with his carry, and they'll send this one into the night sky here in South Wales.
That's a good catch.
Oh, a huge hit going in from Ollie Smith. Oh my goodness, no, it wasn't Ollie Smith, it was Dylan Scott.
Oh, you gotta love the derbies, man. You just see an extra 10, 15, that was about 50% extra on that one.
Ben Murphy just letting Harry Breeze know that he was also part of that ruck, even after it was finished. My word.
The old good morning, good night tackle that was.
Davis now towards Meyer, coming under pressure now. But Vikas Meyer does fantastically well there. Gets Met out of a little bit of trouble there. Arthur Moore tucks that under the arm and tucks himself under the tackle. Gains a good bit of ground there. Carrington, little cheeky chip over the top. What's this going to work out to? Potentially Chris Johnson chasing it down, fighting Davis on the floor for the ball. It might roll back here for Met. And it has done. Penalty for Cardiff Met. Holding on the floor is the call. They have to score from this, Rob.
That's a good call, that. He was isolated and the chase was just so quick. There was only going to be one outcome, I think, and the referee was there, made the right call, and like you say, gives Met the opportunity to get some points on the board. Are they going to go for post? They go for corner, surely.
They've got a mountain to climb here on Rugby 1, trailing by 21 points.
Yeah,
3 converted tries will tie the game, but they'll never be satisfied with a tie against varsity rivals, will they, Rob?
Yeah, look, it might have been tempted there to cash a chip, grab the couple of points in the conversion, but like you say, with a gap like this, got to just take it to the corner and back yourself.
We're going to see the hit again, Rob, because I feel like you crave this. Here it is.
That's what you live for, mate.
Keep your eyes on Dylan Scott.
I was impressed. And how posh. It's just positive though. It can lift your whole team. Just seeing each other stick it on the line.
That's a bit of a mislift there on Cannon. It's going to end up being a free kick to Bath because the ball never went in, but the lift did.
It's just a momentum killer from a Cardiff Met point of view. Bath, you know, they're playing well. They deserve it of their lead, but every time you think Met do something to get back in it, flip the momentum, whether it was a try or a big tackle, it just doesn't seem to. It doesn't. They're not sustaining that flip of momentum. It's just a flicker.
And as you've already mentioned in this game, Ian Gardner will be red with fury seeing mistakes like that come through.
Yeah, Lagarde's passionate is the word that comes to mind initially. I remember me and Griff travelled up to Bath to do a game, BUCS Super Rugby game. Bath away it was, and we had the coaches on the benches behind us, and let's just say Guards is a very vocal coach.
Trust me, from playing experience, I know just how vocal that lovely man can be.
I never thought I'd had to edit a try highlight and just mute myself because Guards is behind me.
Well, whilst we were enjoying reminiscing about Ian Gardner, Connor Treacy has left the field of play. The co-captain for the University of Bath has gone, so the open side is filled by a replacement, and it means that Max Pearce is the new captain for the University of Bath, and this is a new attack for Cardiff Metropolitan. Meyer, what's he going to do? A little step inside, and he has got support in Dylan Scott. Scott isn't able to get round Will Rue, though. And Ardal Yolop has to come in very quickly to tidy that up. They were in danger of losing the ball there. This is panic time now for Bath because it's all Cardiff Met at the moment. The momentum is with them. The wind is in their sails. Arthur Moore now soldiering forwards. It needs to go wide. The space is there if they want to use it. Yolop barrels forward still for the Archers. Meyer. It looked like that would be a tip on to Lewis Walsh, but it went behind the hooker and instead is tidied up out wide nicely by Jacob Wilmot. Moore. Another huge collision courtesy of Claudius Wheeler. I was just about to say you almost feel the momentum's gone from Cardiff Met once more, but a penalty conceded by Bath instantly reverses my opinion.
Well, Vikas Meyer, a bit of a player Cardiff Met have got on their hands there. There's always a fair few that stand out, but he's looking good since he's come on. Fair play. It's nice to have such a imposing figure.
Let's take a look at the replay of the collision on Arthur Moore. Brilliant stuff from Claudius Wheeler. He's been providing that for Bath in defence all night long, and he's still going. This is very impressive fitness, actually, from the loose head forward.
Yeah, 100%. And like you say, if you're playing well, you want to stay on the field. It normally is just the case of you've put it all on the field and there's nothing left in the tank, but Claudius Wheeler still going, and credit to him.
No lift at the line out there for Bath. And it's paid off for them because they've taken possession of Cardiff Met. And there is that man, Claudius Wheeler, taking it further away from their own try line. Rob, another visit to the 22 and another 0 points gained.
Yeah, look, they'll be disappointed. The stats boys will be racking their brains there. It's tough, and Cardiff Met women in their game against Exeter earlier on, really there were few criticisms you can really bring from that. Exeter was such a good side, but you are going to pick out one. It was the conversion rate. They got into the 22 plenty of times. They were just missing that little bit of something to get them over the line, and Cardiff Met suffering with a similar situation here.
The referee not happy with the movement in that line out. Hopefully we just get a reset and it's not another missed opportunity for the Archers. Just having a word there with Arthur Moore. Him and the referee aren't really on good terms right now.
Yeah, I think the Met boys have been pretty vocal down there.
Well, it was a quick word between Arthur Moore and the referee, so Hopefully they've made up with each other and we can get back to some rugby.
In a game like this, to be fair, keeping your discipline in check can't be underestimated. It's a hard thing to do, but it means so much to you. When you're in a game that perhaps isn't going your way, it's tough to keep your discipline, and they've done well.
Well, they've got the penalty advantage. There was an early sack there on Ollie Smith. He hadn't completely made it back to ground zero, and so Met have free ball. And roaming freely was Arthur Moore, taking that one inside the 22. Another penalty advantage. Bath not rolling away in the contact. And here comes Liam Jones. Jones still going forward. You can see the whole Cardiff Met line shift forward with him. And shifting through the defensive line is Meyer. The offload is good. The try is sublime. It's been spilt on the line by Jacob Wilmot. But we will come back for one of the many Cardiff Met penalty advantages. Oh my goodness, Rob, I think collectively the 20 people that are up here on this gantry and below in the studio have their hands on their heads and they can't quite believe what's happened. Have a look at this.
Oh, I cannot believe it. There was just that extra bit of animosity about Cardiff Met and that minute before the try. They just looked like they had that extra little bit. They were going into the breakdown hard, and all of a sudden it looked like it was all going to come together and the try was going to be scored, and you just think highlight real time for all the boys involved. But what a bit of defending. How have they managed that?
Unreal stuff from the brothers of Bath. The changes that they've made have clearly worked. They are making an impact in the right areas for them in the right moment. Red zone defence is everything when you're trying to win in this league, because it means you're not conceding points, Rob. Simple as that.
So often attackers will see their name in lights and think this is my moment, and just forget the defenders are there and they see their name in lights. They can have a try, save and tackle here, hold the ball up, completely change the game, and that's exactly what happened.
It's that man again. It was Harry Breeze who was making the impact and stopping the try. And I can see on the far side of the pitch that Enoch Apuku Gayamfi is waiting in the wings to be deployed in this fixture. And the one thing that Chairman JT told me about him is he loves causing chaos in this league. He lives for the carnage.
Sounds like my kind of player. I like watching those
But for now, we're watching Ian Davis cause carnage at scrum time, and Cardiff Met need to tidy up. Carrington, very, very smart kick. Clearing up things nicely there for Cardiff Met. Put them right down in the corner and putting the pressure on the University of Bath.
The thing is, Bath's line-out has been pretty consistent. I think the better of the two, but we've seen mistakes from both sides. We saw a mistake in the first half where it was given away.
Well, this will be a replay of the kick into the corner. Just so calm and controlled from Carrington. That's the Welsh Prem and Ospreys development experience that I spoke about earlier. Just the ability to have that and in a split second react and create something negative and something positive for your team.
Look, if I had 3 blue jerseys charged at me like that, I wouldn't even be able to remember my own name, let alone have the composure to find the corner. That is the difference.
Well, spilt ball once more by Bath at the line out, and it's the first carry for Opoku Gayamfi. And Cardiff Met seem to be halting this Bath charge out from their own line, and Davis has had to go digging, and he's getting himself ready for yet another box kick. Oh, Ian Davis has done so well there under pressure. Has he made it out the 22? The linesman thinks so. They're now about 25 metres out from their own line, but Cardiff Met, Rob, have got the ball.
Yeah, that's the important part. Need the ball back. It's just funny there seeing Ollie Smith so keen to charge down that kick, because really the clock is ticking down, the time is running out. They'll still back themselves, of course, but you need something to happen here.
Could this be another trick throw? Well, it's recovered nicely by Cardiff Met, but they spilt it. The advantage somehow has come up trumps for Cardiff Met. They might be able to get away with this if they can tidy things up. Ben Murphy, huge collision into Will Rue. He's not been able to say hello to him much in this match, but he certainly did then. But we will come back for the knock-on. And Ben Murphy's got to nurse a little bit of cramp after that collision, but as I say, he certainly said hello now to the opposition fly-half.
Look, I'd never be a referee. It's such a difficult job, but I think Cardiff Met perhaps a little bit fortunate with that decision. We'll have to see a replay. I think he's been impressive and backed the referees to make the right call, but sometimes you just need a little bit of a break, and Cardiff Met might have got one here.
Lewis Walsh is leaving the field of play now for Cardiff Met.
A little bit earlier on, the instant they've gone back to, but
we've brought in Evan Wood into the front row for Cardiff Met, a former Wales under-18s Six Nations captain.
Look, this is a nice position for the Met now. We saw how they used the scrum as a platform. It's exactly what they need to do here. Numbers left, there's only one way it's going.
Here goes Meyer, trying to play that out. Carrington's found some space. He's got the pass onto the outside, but it's not worked out still for Cardiff Met. Incredibly frustrating stuff. The pass went out to Jacob Wilmot, but it just couldn't work for them. Rob Burke, what is happening?
Sometimes you just don't get the rub of the green. He said they're a platform from the scrum. That's exactly what they've been looking for. And they're breaking away. You think for all the world that it's going to be a try. Look at that pinpoint accuracy in the pass, in the composure, and then just over the shoulder pass, and it's given away. No points for Cardiff Met. Another visit, no points.
It was a beautiful run from Joshua Carrington. Phenomenal work from the fullback as ever. We know what he's capable of, but it was just that one little error, the one little pass back from Wilmot didn't quite make it to hand, and it's those tiny, tiny margins that games in BUCS Super Rugby are won on.
No, it absolutely is. There's fine margins, and sometimes it goes for you, other times it goes against you. Cardiff Met, though, need something to happen here.
Well, Meyer playing out now to Kerwin, and Kerwin is met with force by Upuku Gayamfi. But Cardiff Met have still got a chance here. Carrington once again showing us the magic that he can provide on Rugby 1.
They've got great footwork, the wingers. They're just having to use it too deep.
Lovely flat pass there from Meyer to Arthur Moore, but Moore's offload on the floor doesn't go to hand. But there's an offside call here against the University of Bath. Another lucky moment for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, look, they were a little bit unlucky there. Just tracking back and caught offside. Nothing he could really do about it. But got to go for corner. They don't really have an option here. As much as it is an option, it's not. You need to go to the corner, need to get a try and go from there. 16 minutes remaining. Time's been ticking away for a while, and as close as they've come, you don't get points for being close.
$21 points required, 16 minutes to achieve it, and only 15 men out there that can make that difference.
Look, crazier things have happened, but how many times have we seen Cardiff Met in this position and it just not quite work out? Need to be accurate here.
Ball to the back to Cannon, taken nice and cleanly, but it wasn't straight. The referee saying Evan Wood judged to have not thrown that one straight, and it will be a scrum down. University of Bath ball. And it feels like the energy has just been sapped from the air once more, Rob.
Yes, those kind of things. Guards, again, just he'll know that they're better than that. These kind of mistakes have nothing to do with ability. They do it time and time again in training. You watched them last week pinpoint in their set piece. It's just, whether it's nerves or the occasion, whatever it is, something's not clicking.
Here's another look at the line-out throw.
It's a tight one.
It is a tight one.
The camera angle isn't probably the best.
But going back to the school of rugby from Ian Gardner and Alan Williams, even if it's not down the middle, at least try and move your body to play it, to act as though it's gone down the middle. Those are the fine margins we're talking about here, Rob.
Bit of dark arts.
You never know what else he's been teaching these kids. A huge run there. Huge run by Upuku Gayamfi. We'll be seeing plenty more of those as we tick down into the final 15 minutes of play on Rugby 1.
I've just read it. Upuku Gayamfi, 150 kegs. Oh, you wouldn't catch me tackling that. Jesus, that fair play.
Go
What
for the
a
legs.
machine.
You said it earlier. Can't chop down an oak tree from the top.
What a machine. And he's got pace as well, that's the thing. He seriously moves.
He's demonstrated it last week in the game against Loughborough, a game which Bath will feel like they should have won. They only lost by 2 points.
And what a substitute to bring on as well. You know, like the players are flagging, perhaps not. The game starts and everybody's so keen to smash into tackles. The longer the game goes on, the less likely they are to do that. And then you have substitutes. 150 kegs of pure power, that is, coming on with 13 odd minutes to go.
We talked about a mountain to climb for Cardiff Met. A mountain has actually just entered the field of play here on Kincoid campus. It's extraordinary to see how Bath might utilise him in their attack going forwards. And it looks as though Cardiff Met are going to ring in the changes now. A number of fresh faces, fresh legs. That tape is much whiter on the legs of those players coming onto the pitch than those of the athletes already on it. Ben Murphy just saying his thanks and goodbye to the referee. Very sportsmanlike of the loose head again. Actually, I know it's such a small thing, but again, demonstrating the maturity of that loose head now compared to when he first arrived on Kincoid campus.
Yeah, look, 100%. Maturity is a big part of it, and you learn, and it's game management as well. When you have a mix of freshers and second and third years in a team, and it does take the freshers sometimes a bit of time just to realise that sometimes game management is the answer. We had a good view of that one, and it was perfect.
Great first take there for Ryan Cousins, and here come Met now once more. Vikas Meyer over the top of the Bath defenders to Kerwin, but it's judged to have gone forwards. And Henry Kerwin is skipping out of frame, skipping his frustrations away, but we will come back for a Bath scrum.
Yeah, his eyes lit up there, and you can see why. Just look at this. How about these for substitutes? Two of them combining there to put some of these tackles in, and then picked up in a nice position for Henry Kerwin.
You can see that it did clearly go forward there, thanks to the halfway line helping to illustrate it. And we can also say a hello to Archie Friend, the number 21 that's come on for the University of Bath. He's replaced Ian Davis, Wales under-20s Ian Davis, and he's had an excellent game for Bath. He can certainly rest easy tonight knowing he's given absolutely everything and put his side in a good position.
Look, they've been fantastic. I think it's fair to say Bath have really impressed me today, and it wasn't just the starting 15 that have performed well. The subs have come on, and the point is the quality's the same.
Well, here comes Luke Anfield, one of the subs, showing exactly what he can bring into this game. Kerwin went to charge that down, but the ref saying he's knocked it on. Interesting call, Rob, but we will go with it. He's the professional. You and I really aren't.
He did. Look, hold my hands up. He knocked it on. He did. It was a tough ball to deal with. He's knocked it on. He was pretty easy call, that one, I have to say.
Well, there you go. There's a frustrated man if I ever saw one, Ian Gardner. The perfect start might be coming to an end here at Kincoid campus, but still plenty more games left in this BUCS Super Rugby campaign. Here's the run from Luke Anfield. They can't let this keep happening, Rob.
Yeah, look, it's come at him like a bullet train, that ball. Not much you can do. He's done well to even get a hand to it, and difficult one to control. But just going back to the point with Bath, the substitutions come on the field, and the key thing with BUCS Super Rugby, the quality can't drop. When you make those changes, you've got to maintain the quality, and Bath have absolutely done that.
Penalty for Cardiff Metropolitan at scrum time. Is that a turning point, a pivotal moment potentially in this second half?
Get on the end of this one.
And that's a monster of a kick from Vikas Meyer.
Yeah, he's impressed me since he's come on. It's nice to see. He's got the technical ability, but as well he's got the size and the strength and the agility just to get stuck in when his team need him.
I would absolutely not be surprised or shocked if Meyer was the starting fly half for next week's game. There's a lot of movement going around in these lineouts for Cardiff Met, and it does work that time around. There's a nice carry for Liam Jones to get stuck into. He's been loving the physicality, the blindside flanker in this game. Meyer gets it out wide to Carrington.
It's a Will Rigg-esque kind of line, that one.
Riggy, of course, tearing it up in the Premiership with Exeter Chiefs now, of course, since signing over from Coventry because he tore it up in the Championship. And unfortunately, that ball has been torn away from Cardiff Met and from Ryan Cousins, so there'll be a scrum down and Bath ball.
How good was Riggy in the Championship, by the way? I know he's made the step up now, but that was just a cheat code.
No, I'm gonna give you one better. How good was Riggy in BUCS Super Rugby?
No, he was good, eh?
Oh my goodness, that try at Topsham in the corner.
This, you know, a player is just a little bit special when you put
We can see another line here, mate.
It's another example of the physicality in this game.
That's unfortunate, that. But no, just going back to Riggy, you know there's a special player in the team when you're doing your commentary highlights and you're picking the best tries of the year in the special moments, and you realise, like, Will Rigg is 7 of the 10 tries you've picked up.
Very, very true. A very good point. And look, one of those players who's been very special this evening for Cardiff Met has been Joshua Carrington. He has carried superbly. His high ball taking success has been off the charts. He's definitely a crucial piece of this Cardiff Met team.
Yeah, fullback's vitally important. You know, plenty of high balls today. It's not an easy thing to do in these conditions. It's a little bit nippy, bit of moisture in the air. And look, he's dealt with the high ball really well, and the same can be said for fullback in the women's team as well.
A professional career squandered by COVID for Joshua Carrington, but he's certainly looking to restart that dream here at Cardiff Met, and what a platform he's been dealt with to do so. Penalty advantage at the scrum for the University of Bath, and Will Rue is going to look for a slight territory gain. He's not going to get it because Carrington's there to send it back their way, and Bath have a penalty at scrum time. Rob, as we count down into these final few minutes of the match, we're getting closer and closer to 5 minutes left on the clock. I need you to start giving me a short list for your player of the match nominations.
Oh, look, I'd have loved to given you, 5 or 6 names from Cardiff Met, and if you're asking me for players that have impressed me, there's plenty of Cardiff Met players that do that, but really I think player of the match might be going towards the blue half today. Thought we were going to finish the game pitch side then, mate.
I felt the tower wobble a little bit as the ball shattered against the front, but we're all still safe and accounted for.
Our aerial view very much nearly became a pitch side view.
We'd have cracked out the gazebo just for you, Rob, don't you worry. Max Pearce just receiving his instructions from Henry Mountford. And Bath have overthrown yet again. They can't keep conceding these errors. Surely in at the side there was Ewan Coyle. And the referee agrees, no, doesn't agree with me. There was no release on the floor. There's a penalty nonetheless. Amaya sends this into the corner, sends this deep inside Bath territory, and here's a look at the overthrow once more, Rob.
And the lift was good. There was just too much on the pass.
It's all about timing in those lineouts, Rob. Well, they've timed that to perfection as well. Meyer, what is he going to do here? He unleashes Josh Hart. Players throwing their arms around furiously to get the ball out, and it's now with Joshua Carrington. And he's only got Harry Breeze to run into. No holes available for the Met fullback to get through, and we have an injury down in the backfield, and the referee is stopping the game as a result. We've got Harry Breeze down. We've got another Bath player down receiving some treatment also. And look, this is how you know it's getting serious now for Cardiff Met. This is how you know it's do or die. Chris Ower, the backs and attacks coach, is marching onto the pitch, potentially to bark some instructions at them. But I don't think we should listen in too carefully because it won't be PG-13.
Absolutely not. I think there's some harsh words being said in the circle there. Glad to see, though, Harry Breeze back on his feet. You were asking about player of the match contenders, and he's certainly one that sprung to mind.
Well, what do we think is being said in this huddle right now? We're focusing on Cardiff Met. 21 points down at home, 5 minutes left on the clock. Your best bet really at this stage is a losing bonus point, Rob. But what should be being said in that huddle right now?
Look, the experts are down there. It's not really my place to say, but essentially it's important. They've come into this game off such a high of the clash, and really it's difficult to deal with such a peak to start the season. That day could easily go down as the best day of these boys' rugby careers. Like, no matter how successful their career go, we spoke about Will Rigg. I'm sure he's had some fantastic days, but I think if you asked him, name your top 3 days in rugby, one of the clashes, if not all of the clashes, will be up there. So it is difficult to come from that and then back to Rugby 1. You're up against Bath, who are clearly a really good team, and do it all again.
And so I think finishing strong here is the main point. They've played well. There's been positive signs. It's just silly mistakes that's got them in this position. And I think if they can just iron those out in the coming weeks, they'll be absolutely fine.
And there they are, the Bath team sitting comfortably on the bench. Interesting, Rob, that the Bath team opted to sit in that bench right in front of the Cardiff Met Ultras. The university specifically built one on this side of the pitch where we are in the gantry if they wanted to be away from the Ultras, because sometimes things can boil over from the pitch into the crowds, which we don't encourage and we don't want to see. But they've been confident enough to select that, and they've been confident enough to turn it into a great performance on the pitch also.
It's what it's all about. You love that kind of thing, when the opposition can just sit amongst the ultras, a bit of back and forth, and like we said, they're always going to shake hands at the end, and you know, there's no malice in it. But while the game is going on, it is absolutely do or die, bodies on the line, nothing held back. And the good thing about Bath, and why they're one of, I was going to say favourite teams, but one of the teams I enjoy watching in the BUCS Super Rugby, is that as much as they give it out, they're absolutely ready to take it as well, and it creates a nice and an enjoyable game. And I think we've seen that today. As much as there's been some massive hits, there's been no afters, and it has been, you smack me with a tackle, give me 5 minutes, I'll give it to you back, but there's going to be nothing out of order. You know, it's been a very professional game actually from both sides.
Very professional game. Lots of very professional players out there on that pitch, and I'm sure many of them will enjoy fruitful professional careers. There's the Bath squad on our screen right now. Here's a look at the earlier try in the second half.
This was impressive. There's honestly a 1-by-1 of space on the try line there, and he's just picked it out, dove onto it, and they've been surgical. When they've had the opportunities to come forward, they've absolutely taken advantage and given those two a pretty bad headache, I imagine.
Gareth Baber, Director of Rugby, there on the right-hand side. Enjoyed a nice summer at the Olympics with the Fiji 7 set up, and Dr. Ian Gardner on his left-hand side. Not enjoying this match so much as some of the other games so far in this BUCS Super Rugby campaign. We just also want to make it clear that we're not showing the images right now on the screen because it looks as though it's a serious injury out on that pitch, and that's why players are just keeping themselves warm, keeping their hands busy. We don't really want to show those images, and we just hope that the player's okay, and we do send them all our best. Because like you say, Rob, at the end of the day, it's been a very respectful encounter, despite the collisions being fierce and the physicality being rife between these sides. And I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, I know it sounds super cheesy, but you really don't need the Nando scale to see how spicy it's been getting out there. It's just delivered every single piece of contact.
Look, mate, it is spicy, but you know, with this injury now, you can say with 100% confidence that there was no malice in, if it was a tackle that led to this, there was no malice in the tackle, there was no intent to hurt. There's just two passionate teams going at it, and you know, unfortunate that the player's down, and it does look pretty serious. Wishing them a speedy recovery, but as I say, there's no malice involved, and both teams just want to play rugby.
Well, we're going to take a look now at the Met try, the sole try from earlier on. The break from Carrington, the offload, the continued tempo from Cardiff Met, and it's a lovely score all the way in the corner for Kerben. And Rob, they've just been missing that from the rest of the match, haven't they?
Yeah, look, it was interesting. We almost saw, just to go to the players, no stretcher needed, which is a real positive. It looked for a moment that he would have some assistance leaving the field, but he is walking off, which is really positive to see.
I'm pretty sure that is Jamie Howick. I'm looking there. I think it's a number 13 on his back. So, yeah, really good to see that he is walking off the pitch. Assisted, obviously, but it's good to see that it's safe, being deemed safe enough for him to get to his feet, to be upright, to be walking off this park, and hopefully he can get the treatment that he needs to be feeling 100% heading into the rest of this campaign. So we send him all our best wishes, Jamie Howick. We hope it's nothing too serious, because none of these players want to miss a minute of BUCS Super Rugby action in the season, let alone several games.
It's big as well. The teammates, his Bath teammates seeing him walk off the field will just put them at ease a little bit. There's nothing worse than seeing one of your teammates being carried off on a stretcher. So that they can rest assured now, knowing that, you know, he's going to be all right. He's walked off. You know, he might miss some games, but again, much more positive than it initially looked.
I've got a score update for you, Rob. Exeter obviously won 46-17, but there's a Loughborough update, 42-21 against Cardiff. But here at Kincoy campus, there could be another try for Kerwin in the corner, but he's brought down nice and quickly by Tom Hughes. But it's all Cardiff Met right now as we get this game restarted after a slight pause for injury. And Bath might have disrupted that as well as they hold up Cardiff Met brilliantly in attack, and they get the scrum as well. That is as big as winning the game as a whole.
It is, and look, we've sung their praises, but the substitutions from Bath, I mentioned that the substitutions really can't afford to lower the level. If anything, they've pushed Bath up a little bit. They've made them better. The tackles just have so much conviction, and every little bit of momentum that Cardiff Met have is stopped in its tracks.
I've got another BSR score update for you. Hartpury have defeated Swansea University 39-7. Let me just say that again for you, Rob. Swansea lost 39-7. I'll say it a third time for you, Rob, as a Swansea Uni undergrad. 39-7 against Hartpury, but again showing the quality that exists in this league. A super close game between Swansea and Cardiff Met in round one, and they've fallen to Hartpury, one of the legends of this sport at university level. And University of Bath have got themselves another scrum penalty. Wheeling is the call from the referee from the loose head, and Met are marched back.
Good question. Are Cardiff Uni still winning their game, or are they winning their game?
No, they're 42-21 against Loughborough.
Real tough day for Welsh rugby in BUCS Super Rugby today then. Swansea, Cardiff, and Cardiff losing. Not what you want to see, mate.
It's not really, especially with the Autumn Nations series on the horizon. More Welsh rugby action very, very shortly following us in the coming weeks. Here's a replay of the scrum. Rob, can you pick out who's at fault there? Do you agree with the ref's decision on the loose head?
The ref's very quick to make a decision there, so I'd have to say, someone on his side.
Well, it's a clean take for once from the University of Bath at the line-out, and Apuku Gayamfi is adding his weight into the mauling effort, and Max Pearce is coming away with the ball too. Lovely peel from the hooker, and great offload as well. Apuku Gayamfi. There's been a forward pass in the build-up though, so we won't see Bath advance any further. Nope, we're going back for a penalty.
I was going to say he's going to bring it back twice. And the ref's been good. He's been fair. Don't have a ball at the moment, but the thing is, that injury really taking the sting out of the game, and Met could have done with a little bit of momentum and a little bit of chaos, maybe.
Well, Rob, 20 seconds left in this game. Cardiff Met back inside their own half. Feels like we haven't said that for a while, actually. So this has been brilliant defence from the University of Bath, and I think that leads me nicely on to asking, who is your player of the match?
There's been a lot of standout players, I think, and really you can't take your pick. I've been massively impressed, though. Mentioned it before with the number 6, Harry Breeze. I think there were some key moments in the first half where Met were flirting with flipping the momentum, kind of turning things around, and that man was there to just put a stop to it, really. And he's in the mixer now, just putting his body on the line still. He's been everywhere. He's been an outlet from the breakdown, and he's absolutely tackled hard, and he hasn't really missed a beat today. So player of the match, I think, for me, Harry Breeze for Bath.
There you go, the blindside flanker for Bath, taking the ultimate prize from Rob Burke this evening.
Credit where it's due, though. I can say there was a moment where we thought perhaps he was injured, but yeah, player of the match this evening, number 6, Harry Breeze. Mentioned it. It was that moment in the first half when you thought things were going to go in the way of Cardiff Met, and Breeze was there to just, well, he just tackled it out with them. He absolutely put a stop to it.
But look, on the evening of his 25th BUCS Super Rugby cap, Harry Breeze has won the Player of the Match award. And I'm sure the ex-Scarlets Academy man will really enjoy that one on the bus ride home.
Yeah, and I think it is a case tonight of Met haven't done too much wrong in the second half, and we were inches away from 2 tries that were just miraculously held up over the line. It could have been so different, but the point is,
it's not different because Bath have been exceptional. Their defence has been almost faultless. 5 points is all they've conceded. And against a team like Met, where they do have so many outlets to score, keeping them to 5 is a pretty impressive feat.
Well, certainly something Cardiff Met want to put right straight away next week, and it looks as though Bath could be finishing on another high here in the corner. A matter of inches from scoring on the try line. It's scramble time now for Cardiff Met. They don't want to let another one slip. Puku Gayamfi, is he going to get over? It looked as though he might have been over, but he's managed to work the ball back for his teammates. The blind side's wide open here, but they choose not to use it, the University of Bath. Still, they work their way in field. And the try has been scored. The last laugh will be done by the University of Bath, and it's Jacob Yates who's come up with the ball. A melee of bodies forming on the floor. And it's the replacement prop who takes the final word in this game. A lovely little gesture from Max Pearce to the crowd. Bath have completely silenced the Ultras, and they have taken us all off guard. Here is that try, Rob.
Look, the line-out was pinpoint, and then it was all-out attack from that moment on. I think every blue jersey there thought their name could be on the try. And in the end, like you say, just relentless. It really is. The thing is, a couple more seconds and the penalty goes one way or the other. Cardiff Met magnificent defence. The point was Bath were relentless. They're already winning the game. It's kind of all said and done now. And to have that desire just to keep on going, the substitutes again, putting their bodies on the line, going one way, then the other, and eventually they get it over the line. And really, it was only a matter of time.
And it's mightily impressive from Bath, especially when you consider 7 changes to the starting 15 alone, almost a 50% different squad, and they've still been able to deliver the goods. There go the extra 2, there goes the full-time whistle, and the University of Bath are victorious here at King Coyd campus. 33-5, the final score. My goodness, drama at King Coyd campus. The Archers didn't quite hit the mark this evening, and so it is Bath who have taken the spoils in this vasty derby. The Roman Legion will march into next week with an extra bit of might. Met have some work to do going into round 4. Rob Burke, I think we all need to know now why you think Bath won this fixture today. What has been that deciding factor?
In fairness to Bath, look, I wasn't 100% sure what to expect. You never really know how it's going to go this early in the season. The teams have such a high turnover. You never know if they've kept a few numbers from the year before, but honestly, massively impressed with Bath today. They were clinical in attack when it mattered, taking their opportunity. We said that the team that had the better of the set piece would probably come out on top. I think that absolutely was the case today. We saw when Bath messed up on the rare occasion at the set piece, immediately they corrected it, made it better, and learning on the toes as well. They conceded a try from a line-out on this near side from Cardiff. It wasn't too long after that we saw a carbon copy. That time though, Bath closed the gaps, shut the play down, and there were no more scores for Cardiff Met. Into the second half, really, I think the biggest accolade for Bath was not only was the team equally as good when they made the substitutions, you could make a pretty good argument that they actually got better even when the substitutions had come on, and a lot of the time it's difficult in this early season. There's a lot of freshers on the bench. You perhaps don't know how they're going to deal with a game like this, but they came on, the reinforcements arrived, and the reinforcements absolutely performed.
100%. And look, Cardiff Met will want to right the wrongs of today pretty quickly. Before I go into that though, a special mention to the number 13, Jamie Howick of the University of Bath side. You've mentioned him walking around in crutches. It's just good to see that he is happy enough to bring himself onto the pitch in crutches, and actually all the Cardiff Met players did tap him to make sure he was okay, to say congratulations on the win. It's that mutual respect that both those teams hold, and it's so brilliant to see that at BUCS Super Rugby level. And look, next week for Cardiff Met, They're hosting Leeds Beckett at home Wednesday the 16th of October. That's another 6:30 kickoff. It'll be live on Cardiff Met Sport TV, thanks to the amazing Sports Broadcasting Masters students and programme run here from Kincoy campus. But for the University of Bath, their next game is Hartpury University at home. The ones that we mentioned had that massive win against Swansea this evening, but they'll be hosting them in a very special fixture at The Rec. It will be live streamed on BUCS Sports YouTube channel, live streamed from The Rec on the BUCS Super Rugby channel, sorry. If you are a Bath fan as well that's tuned in this evening, you can get a free ticket, yes Rob, a free ticket to go to The Rec and watch the University of Bath. Just head to the link in their Instagram bio, follow all their social media and claim one before they all go, because no ticket, no entry. And you could say on that note that Cardiff Met, no ticket, no entry. There were no points really in that game when they got into the 22.
No, it was really tough. And I think credit where it's due. It was nice to see a derby game where it was just all about the rugby. There was, like I said, there's plenty of passion and a little bit extra perhaps in the tackle, a little bit more motivation just because it is a derby game. But there was no malice. It was just a case of, look, I'll hit you now, you can come and get me again in 5 minutes, but let's just keep it there. There was no bickering, none of that, and like you say, the injury, tough one for Jamie Howick to take, but he's on his feet, and for Cardiff Met, it's all about regrouping now. Like I said, it would have been nice to finish that game on a high. It's just difficult to come down from the absolute pinnacle that is winning the Cardiff Clash at Arms Park. Huge difference in emotions right now. Just look at the disappointment on the faces of the Cardiff Met team as you see there on your screen. Ian Gardner, super calm on the outside, very straight-faced, but I can assure you he won't be calm on the inside. His blood will be boiling after that match because he will hate a scoreline that looks like that. 33-5 you lose on home turf. That's not what you want. No, it isn't. And the thing is, you know, Ian Gardner taking over, pragmatic coach. And I mentioned the story when I went up to Bath and we had a little remote commentary set up and Ian Gardner was on the bench behind us and the passion really shone through, and it was the first time that I got an insight into how much firstly these coaches care about the results. Their knowledge, of course, is exceptional, that's why they're in the role, but Ian was somebody who absolutely stood out to, it's just the passion that he has. He wants the best for this team, and a result like that will hurt because he's invested, and just like the Ultras over on the far side, they're personally invested. They've got an emotional connection with the club. Ian Gardner is the exact same, and this one will hurt. It's a derby match, it's on home soil, and I said he'll be coming down from the high of last week as well. As much as the players enjoy it, it's a dream for the coaches to lead their team to a victory at Arms Park. Absolutely. And look, before today, Cardiff Met were the highest point scoring side in the league. 75 points they'd scored in just the space of 2 matches. That's a phenomenal feat for any side, but it's been completely ruined by the 5 that they've only come away with this evening. I mean, when you say it out loud like that, Rob, it's just incomprehensible, really. But we know that this Cardiff Met side are good enough to bounce back as well, and they've got the support of those Ultras on your screen right now to ensure that they can execute that. Absolutely. Look, Guards had the capacity to be able to boast that they might be able to go 3 in a row to open the season. That's not something that happens too often for any team in BUCS. And look, he'll sort things out, absolutely. We have all faith in him. Well, it's time you've heard enough of our voices. Rob, I'm going to let you get to somewhere much warmer, potentially with a hot beverage also. But for now, it's time that we go down pitchside to join Meg Joyce. And I believe that she's managed to coax Ian Gardner away from the huddle.
Yes, well, it was quite a dominant performance there from Bath, with the final score Bath 33, Cardiff Met 5. Hasn't quite gone the Archers' way tonight, but the season is young and it is BUCS Super Rugby after all. So I am now joined by Cardiff Met head coach Ian Gardner. Thank you for joining us. What happened out there for you this evening?
I think a lot of credit has to go to Bath. I thought they brought a huge degree of physicality tonight, and they put a lot of pressure on our set piece in the contact area, and we didn't really cope with that pressure, and we never really got our game going, and that's credit to them as a 15.
And after last week's high of the Cardiff Clash, how does it now feel to have a loss at home? How do you come back from something like that?
Well, you learn more from a loss than you do from a win, and I think we've got to be honest, and that's one of our core values. And if we're honest, we weren't at it physically tonight. They were dominant, as I say, in a physical collision game like rugby union. you're not going to win games when you're not winning collisions, and we didn't manage that tonight. So we've got to go away. We've got to look at that and look at how we can improve in that area, because obviously we've got a tough challenge against Leeds next week.
Yes, I was just about to touch Leeds back at home again, though. What will you do in preparation for that game next week?
Well, obviously we'll have a good look at the video, but I think the boys will be heard from that, and hopefully we can get a response this week. And as I said, the amount of pressure they put on us forced too many errors, and I know the boys will be disappointed with that as well, and our accuracy. So yeah, it'll be an interesting review this week, but I'm sure the boys will respond in a positive manner.
I was going to say, you've got a hell of a team out there. What's the camaraderie like, especially after a defeat?
Well, as I said, it's a strong camaraderie around the lads. They're a good bunch. They've worked really, really hard in pre-season, and as I said, it's important we get a response now this week. We train well and prepare well for Leeds next week, because we need a big performance. The crowd came out; they were fantastic. The ultras were tonight in their support, and we need to give something back for that support as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
No problem.
Now get you to hand over to Aaron James, the Bath head coach.
Congratulations. Well played.
Hiya. Thank you for joining me. Congratulations, first of all. How does it feel?
It feels really good to get a win. It's been here a long time, and haven't been over here and had that sort of gap.
And what went well for you out there today, performance-wise?
We just talked about, we sort of got a lot of confidence. We sort of connected a bit more of a squad, but there's a lot we didn't get right. We how many lineouts did we miss and opportunities we missed, which is quite frustrating. But I think we just got in the huddle and talked about how we sort of really connected as a group, which is the encouraging thing, and that's sets us well to improve.
So how does it feel coming here to Cardiff Met? You're obviously our varsity as well, but matches like this, how do you feel coming down to this kind of campus?
Oh, it's great, because we've got, we're in the home of the Archers. The real difference, and I went over to your social group over on the side, dressed as builders. I thought they had a real atmosphere. Their behaviour today was really, really good. They told us about showers and baths and things like that, and I've still got a bald head, but they're really good, and they just add another atmosphere at Kim Coyd, and that for Cardiff Met's quite special. It's always hard to come here, and that's why we walk away from here with that gap. Quite happy, because we didn't, we wouldn't have thought that would be the score, given all the other ones have been really, really close in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yes, well, congratulations, quite the win for you there, and thank you very much for joining us. I will let you go and celebrate.
Thanks,
now, if the live streams weren't enough for you and you're looking for a little bit more Cardiff Met Sport TV content, don't worry, we've got you covered. As part of the sports broadcasting course, the students are expected to complete a documentary on a sporting topic of their choice. And part of their final piece, what pressure could you want? Keeping with the rugby theme, Inside Cardiff Met RFC by Rhys Davitt is coming out very soon. And here's the trailer. Diolch.
It's all about this now, dog mentality.
You don't get assessments done, you don't stay on top of that. That will affect you, and that will affect us.
Rugby, fel oedd e'n dweud, yn gêm ffisegol, felly mae pethau'n gallu digwydd fel anafiadau.
That was a year wasted, pretty much, of uni rugby.
It's a harsh sport, but sport is harsh anyway.
Cardiff Metropolitan University seems to be a popular breeding ground for test match rugby players.
Players like Alex Donbrand, and last year we had Roma obviously kick on to Quins.
Coming to somewhere where they've started almost breeding professional rugby players, it makes you think that it's possible.
Mae'r cyfleusterau'n gwell byth.
It's going to be a very tough year. The teams we're playing against are going to be very good.
It's exciting. I think we're always up for the challenge, and there's no reason why we can't do well this year.
Happy to go?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Joe Towns and I'm the Programme Director of the Sport Broadcast Master's degree. The Sport Broadcast MSc is all about live production skills, sports broadcast journalism and content creation, whether that's for social media, for podcasts, long-form documentaries or short-form TikTok. On the Sport Broadcast Master's degree, we try and cover every possible role that you could find in the contemporary sports media industry. We want our students to be prepared for all of them, whether that's behind the camera, directing, producing, editing, operating replays, directing a live stream, or if it's on screen, reporting, presenting, commentating. We've designed this course as the perfect stepping stone into the sport broadcast media industry. In terms of broadcast facilities, we have a fully equipped Adobe Lab, which is our newsroom, a TV news gallery, a radio room, brand new podcast studio, and out on the sports fields we have gantries and galleries so that we can live stream football and rugby every week. This course is a practical course, it's hands-on, it's vocational. We really pride ourselves that we're trying to create students that are multi-skilled and ready to take their career in any direction when they leave us. The big advantage of running this course on this campus here at Cardiff Met is that there is elite sport every week, whether that's Wednesday as part of the BUCS competition or so many of our teams play in National League sporting competitions on the weekend. On a Wednesday afternoon, our students could be directing a live stream of BUCS Super Rugby. They might be filming highlights for a live football match, presenting a radio show, making a podcast, or doing a live TV Up the Archer sports preview show. As well as weekly BUCS fixtures, we also cover some really big events on campus, whether that's our varsity day against Bath University.
It's Cardiff Clash. Cardiff Met versus Cardiff University.
Clash on the Court, a triple header in the Archers Arena where we show netball, women's basketball, men's basketball, or the Cardiff Met Sports Awards, a massive event in a hotel in the city where we do all of the VTs and production for what is a brilliant way to round off the year. Across the city and across Wales, we have some very well established relationships with the industry, so our students have opportunities the whole year long to go out on placements. If you're a Welsh speaker,
Shwmae a chroeso I bennod arall o Up the Archer.
Then we allow all students to submit any of their coursework in the medium of Welsh. We also have some fantastic opportunities in the Welsh sports broadcast industry. The sport broadcast industry is a fast-changing, ever-evolving space. We're really proud that so many of our graduates go on to work in the industry. There's all sorts of possible opportunities for the students to explore once they finish the Sport Broadcast Master's degree.